I don't know what just happened. I had to get off that Wi-Fi. It don't have me buffering. Use a different method. Cause boy, look here. All right. So I'll give everybody the opportunity to come on back in. Welcome everybody to a Prevalent Friday. I pray that everybody has been enduring and keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High to the best of your ability, right? Give everybody the opportunity. Everybody like, what happened? Give everybody the opportunity to come on back in. We can let the lesson begin. It's thankful for another day, another opportunity to do the will of the Lord, man. To do the will of the Lord, right? I know without the Most High, I'm nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a humble servant, right? Shalom, shalom, Aqua Fidel. It's good to see you, sister, right? I know everybody hyped, man. We got that new moon coming up, right? Got that double Sabbath. So, hey, make sure you utilizing today to grab what is needed, right? Shalom, shalom, Ak Moses, right? Make sure y'all utilizing today to grab what you need. We got that double Sabbath coming up. You know what I'm saying? That double can't buy. So make sure you got your provisions in place in regards to it, right? Shalom, Sharaya, Nakikia, right? Trust me, boy. Your day will go by quick and you be like, dang, I ain't getting on. Hey, so we gotta try and grab it early when we go into that, right? It's good to see everybody, man. This week been crazy, right? Y'all been seeing all stuff, hit that like, share, subscribers. Y'all come on in. Let's go ahead and help spread this to the four corners that we are scattered in. Shalom, shalom, Aqua Hannah. It's good to see you, man. All praises, right? Con. Hey, I know how it is. I know how it is. Raising that the little one that just came out, she want that attention. She gonna have you in there, y'all in there watching, you know what I'm saying, listening to righteous music, soft music, and next thing you know, you knocked out. So I understand, trust me. Right, and all praise, I'm glad to see y'all. But it's been a crazy week, man, in the news and everything, right? I know y'all seen the situation with the Autobot had and then the Olympics, they let the Autobot get in there with the females and stuff, and it didn't go as planned, you know. And some of these young ladies, right, would get out there and say, "Oh, I'm not afraid to fight anybody. Oh, I'm a boxer. I spar with men and stuff like that." Yeah, that's one thing. You got a Sotheby's in the Olympics going for the gold, but y'all is not finna win that. It's not finna go down. You throw him in that 100 meters in that pool, he gonna show you that 40% upper body strength. He gonna show you that. You see what I'm saying? That woman in Italy found out the hard way. She got in there with that Sotheby's, and he hit her with the Mamma Mia, right? You know what I'm saying? Right in the kisser. And guess what? She said she felt a sharp pain like she has never felt in her life. And she had to gracefully bow. She said, I'm a mature woman. I made a mature decision, right? Shalom, Brian G. Good to see. So I made a mature decision as a woman to bow. She said, I didn't lose. I did about, no. Look, hey, she said she made a conscious decision to go ahead and exit that scenario. She said she has never been hit that hard before in her life. And we got to think about this, bro. As an Israelite, we about to get socked in the face, right? We gonna have to draw the line. But there's gonna be some socking in the face, right? Somebody done posted something that got them held up. You gotta be careful with your keystrokes, man. They got a gun line on YouTube. They will block your comment. So it's being held for review. I can't even see it. So we got to think about that. Is these wars ramping up? These situations ramping up? the propaganda and misinformation that's being put out here is ramping up to the point where some people not gonna know the difference between real and fake, man. And they gonna probably try to AI the Most High or Yahushua. And they definitely gonna try. You know, they set up the things now. They got the things with the you probably don't see them as much anymore, but you probably do. Those commercials that be like, yeah, you can get $1,600 subsidy check, and they don't want you to know about this, and click the link and this, that. Come on, man. And they got everybody voicing it. Snoop Dogg, Ross, The Game. A lot of these rappers that probably don't have either time or the money to go after these individual companies that are posting these videos with a bunch of foolishness in it. Oh, you can get your medical card right now. I'm using it to pay for rent and this and that. And that. Hey, we have to draw the line and realize a lot of this stuff we being lied to, right? We being lied to, right? I know everybody done probably hit that like, they done probably hit that share. They knew they probably hit subscribe, but YouTube gonna say, nah, you got a 0 up there, buddy. And I remember I used to like certain videos and whatnot, and you would hit it, it would show the thumbs up, it would turn blue, but the number wouldn't change, right? Quick question. How do our priests of Esau are Israelites? All right, we're gonna spin a block on that, Moses. We're gonna answer that at the end of class because that's a great question. Please hold that question. I wish I had a way to pin the questions on here, but hey, I don't be touching that screen. Next thing you know, you're to end the video, right? But there's a lot of ways to preach that Esau isn't an Israelite because number one, when you go into what happened with the brotherly covenant, right? Because once you break that brotherly covenant, and the Most High created them as two nations anyway, he already knew he was going to love Jacob, right, over Esau, right? He already knew that. So when he had that scenario come down the pipe, and they saw us coming out of Egypt, and they say, hey, let us attack them. Okay, the Lord said, write this down, and make sure you rehearse this in the ears of Jonathan, Moses, right? What they did. Because he was going to have a perpetual hate against them forever, right? They had already lost the blessing. They have already lost the actual covenant because Isaac blessed Jacob, right? Esau came in there wanting a blessing too. Well, he got the opportunity to have the fat of the earth through the sword, through war campaigns and things of that nature, right? If you haven't seen that last Spider-Man movie, the main villain used AI projectors to see the people from reality. They've been showing that in Africa. I don't know if y'all remember them showing those AI projections of Christ coming back in the clouds in Africa. They've already started, they called it Project Blue Beam or something like that, right? But when you see Japan, they have those large AI projectors that scare the people. They got one out in Las Vegas now, right? Where it looked like a big old eyeball blinking. It looked real as I don't know what. Or they got the fish jumping out the screen, swimming in the sky. Or a lion chasing something, right? Or a cat chasing something. They already have that type of stuff. This is the reason why now you're seeing more of the glasses. They got the glasses that you can put on, like regular reading glasses that you can put on that allows you to actually see things in a, trust me, man, they already trying to take us away from television because a lot of people aren't home. Now they're trying to do it Tupac, all of these hologram scenarios. So they're ramping it up. If people are willing to go pay to see a hologram perform, well, you can look it down on your phone. It's ramping up. It's time to draw the line, man. We got to draw the line in regards to what's real and what's not real. You know what I'm saying? They just had a old lady that they said went out there and turned Rambo. I use that phrase, right, over a parking spot. I don't know if y'all seen that. But when you Google this lady's name and the state that she's in, right, you don't see anything. When you look at the news coverage of, because, I mean, think about it. If that one lady just got unalived in her home by those two individuals, right, because you can't even call them what they walk around in the costume as. But if those two individuals unalived her and they had that set up based on the fact that she had a run-in with the dude that said what he was going to do, wife, right? You start to draw the dots and connect the lines like, wait a minute, there's some foolishness. Because a lot of people really don't have time to wrap their brain around it. They give you a 30-second short, a 1-minute video, and you're supposed to make a conclusion off of that. That's the foolishness. That's the reason why it's an issue for you to say that you're an Israelite, if you're a Negro, Indigenous, Latino, or Native American, because they want to continue to make money off of us as a people. That's exactly what they're looking to do, right? They're exactly looking to do that. But when you look this old lady up, you can't find nothing but a TikTok video and a YouTube video. You don't find no news coverage. And if one of our people went out there and went Rambo on the situation, right? If they went Rambo on the situation, that man's it would be over every news situation that you could possibly see. It would be over it would be around the clock coverage. It would be at her house. It would be walking through her house. It would be looking for the cache weapons in the shed or buried in the backyard. It would have all this type of, no. And plus she's still alive after doing all of that, right? After hitting Buddy in the kneecap 2 times, right? There's no video, no social media, right? After getting into it with the with 5-0, right? Unaliving one, hitting the other one somewhere up here in the upper body, right? Getting away and then being captured and still alive. But they'll unalive you in the house because you got a pot in the sink. We got to start understanding a lot of this stuff, they playing with our mind, man. We got to draw that line so we can focus on the salvation. We got to definitely do that, because if we don't start utilizing discernment, they're going to try and get us with the AI Yahushua. That'll be the next thing, right? They know we're not going to, a lot of us ain't going to stop believing. They know that, right? So this is why the Most High put on my spirit the name of the class, we got to draw the line. But I've been hearing that in my spirit all week. Got to draw the line. Got to draw the line. Right? So I want to start out with the first precept, Salakia. We had a little bit of a rant there, or just conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go to Romans chapter 16, verse 19. Right? And it reads, "For your obedience is come abroad unto all men," right? Because we got to watch out for the divisions, right? We got to watch out for the divisions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hold that 19, I'm going to jump up to 17 and read down, right? Because we really want to look at this and take this apart piece by piece, because we really need to apply this to our spirit and our walk going forward. We got Day of Atonement coming up. We have so many important things to the Lord, high holy days coming up, that we need to appear and not appear empty. Because it's easy to appear empty. Because life can beat you down, man. It definitely can. I'm jump up to 17. And it says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, right? We see who's doing that. Esau's doing that, right? Moab is doing that. Elam is doing that. Ammon is doing that. Ham is definitely doing that, right? They're causing divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine that we have learned. Y'all not the Israelites. Y'all can't be the Israelites. Y'all this, y'all that. Y'all can't be that. Nobody was calling themselves Israelites. But soon as so-called Negroes, Indigenous Latinos, and Native Americans started waking up, the Most High started showing their people the prophecies that we would wake up and the land serving our enemies would be brought by ships. All of these things started playing out. Why is Esau and these other heathen nations scrambling to create propaganda, misinformation, to remove this from our education scenarios, right? Why is that happening, right? That's what we have to start asking. Why is our page freezing up when we're going live? Why is our numbers affected? If what we're saying is complete foolishness, no different than someone getting on here telling a joke or a child just holding a phone, singing a song as a baby, right? Something that's completely harmless, right? If what we're saying is so false, it's so unreal, then why is it such a problem? We got to ask ourselves, why is it creating such a fear in these heathen nations, right? Why is it creating such a fear in these churches, right? Gotta ask, why are these religion leaders trying to teach their leadership and their congregations how to combat Israelites, or as they like to call us, BHI, right? Because we've never called ourselves that. That's a slur, right? That's a spit in the face, right? But we have to basically mark them. We got to draw that line on them that's causing division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which we have learned, and avoid them, right? And what we mean by avoid them, focus on the salvation, right? Got to draw that line. Because I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to the lake of fire. I don't want to basically labor in the truth only to not make it, bro. I've done a lot of free work for Esau that gambled on my grace, right? When I didn't understand the importance of not working on the Sabbath, and they got us working on the Sabbath, right? It says, I don't try to name other people as Israelites, or not because we can't know what we do know, that other children are slaves, or because the tribes still exist, West Africa. But this is the thing, right? The Most High utilizes those who he chooses to wake his people up, right? If he didn't wake up Noah and said, hey, go build this ark, think about how many people wouldn't have made it, right? That's the thing. A lot of people wouldn't have made it based off that. If at the end of the day, he didn't send the prophets, Daniel, Isaiah, Ezekiel, right? Jonah, even though Jonah didn't want to go. If he didn't send these prophets, think about how many people would have been lost. If Christ, the Most High's Son, didn't come on down and say, hey, you know what? I need to be a mediator for these people, would have been lost. If Moses wasn't sent to Egypt, think about that. The Most High has to send the different signs, prophets, and prophecies. Shalom, shalom, Aqua Genesis, good to see you. These things have to be done, right? When they say, well, you got a chart, there's a lot of people in West Africa. Yes, we're scattered to the four corners of the earth. So there's Israelites in Paris, Israelites in Tokyo, Israelites in Brazil, Israelites in West Africa, Israelites in Ukraine, probably, in Russia, in China. They're all over. They're scattered. They just don't know the assignment yet. That's why these classes are important to go out to the four corners. They might be looking at sports, got the phone in their pocket, and it bring the Most High says, I'm going to put an Israelite video on there. Bloop, and they hear it. And they say, I never heard this before. They might wrestle with it at first, but they may be intrigued. Then another video start popping up, right? Battle Axes of the Most High, right? That's who I congregate with. The Battle Axes of the Most High. That is our congregation, Mr. Bryant, right? But we have to understand we're scattered, right? That's why this class is, we got to draw a line, right? Because a lot of these heathens, they don't want the opportunity to be granted, right? And we're going to go into that. And I praise Yahweh, hallelujah, Yahweh, when he brings forth somebody. You may think it's a crazy question. You may think the question may not be important, but he brings forth a person that have a question that's going to go into the class that's going to edify, right? We got to water the soil. We got to feed the sheep. We got to do what Yahweh Shah told us to do before he ascended back into heaven, right? We got to do that. So we were in verse 18. We're in Romans, right? We're in Romans 16. Now we're in verse 18, right? And it said we got to avoid them which create division and offenses. We got to avoid these heathen scenarios. We got to avoid all their ideas, all their idolatries, all the things they try and tell you. You're not an Israelite. You can eat this pork. You can keep Thanksgiving. You can keep Christmas. No, we got to avoid all of that. Because if we don't, we're gonna be right back in sin. I just saw a movie called Cell. I ain't seen that in a while with Samuel Jackson, but he was on the cell phone. They turned him into some kind of zombie or something. They started going crazy out the phone. And then the end of the movie, the dude thought he did something to actually stop the whole problem. Come to find out, he's one of the zombies. They running in a circle around the antenna at the end. He running. But in his mind, he's going to Canada with his son. You see what I'm saying? Got to draw these lines. We got to draw these lines. Verse 18, it says, for they that are such serve not our Lord. Well, I would say Adawam, Hamashiach, Yahushua. That's how you say Lord, Jesus Christ. But Jesus, letter J is a word that the Greeks named him. His name was Yahushua. That's why you say Hamashiach, right? That means Christ. That means anointed, right? In the Paleo. It says, but their own belly. So they're not serving the Lord. They're serving what makes them feel good, right? I don't know if y'all been seeing the Olympics. Officer Barry Collins telling me the intro to the Olympics was complete abomination, right? Complete abomination in the eyes of the Lord. We'll say we trust in the Lord. They'll put it on the money. They'll put it in the courthouse, right? They're trying to put it back in the schools, but they're having problems where even pastors are coming out saying, we don't want that in there. Y'all don't want the Lord in the schools, right? How are they going to know not to sin? Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, right? Thou shalt not utilize usury, right? Thou shalt not violate a woman or a man nowadays, right? How are we going to learn this? But again, this is why it tells us in verse 17, we have to avoid them. We have to avoid these doctrines, right? It says, for they that are such serve not our Lord, right? Hamashiach Yahushua, but their own belly. And by good words and fair speeches, deceive the hearts of the simple, right? This is where the deception's coming in, right? They got Harris, right? A heresy. Use that. She's not one of us. We need to wake up. Oh, she's Jamaican. Let me explain something to you how this works. I'm a Benjamite, right? By way of Bahamas. There are a lot of other ethnicities in Jamaica, right? There is a lot of them. Jamaica's pretty much ran by the Chinese, bro. Their government have already signed contracts with China to create this road in Jamaica. And for them doing that, their leaders, their political leaders have basically sold out their country. So now you have Moabites, right? Which is we know who Moabites is. If you don't, then we can explain it, which are the Chinese over there ruling over Jamaica. Now you're probably saying, well, they just freed Vibes Cartel, right? That's just another distraction because they have more things going on. It's more political stuff going on behind the scene. We're over here. We can't see it. But those who have their finger on the pulse of the islands, they know what's going on over there, right? There's a lot of other nations like East Indians. There's a lot of them in the West Caribbean. A lot of them because they go over there no different than coming to America and opening a laundromat, right? Or opening a restaurant, opening this or that. They keep on. The people don't realize what's going on. They say, oh yeah, Mr. Chin, right? But Mr. Chin don't deal with them like that. I've seen videos where a Moabite woman was over there telling Jamaicans that was born there who ethnicity goes back past the 1800s, past the 1700s, right? Who ethnicity shows they've been there, straight Negro, right? Or a Native American, because there's not a lot of indigenous Latino, they didn't really land over there, right? But they will say, no, I'm a real Jamaican. The rest of y'all not real Jamaicans, but they can go back to China, sign that passport, right? And now they can be Ling Ning. They can be that person. And it's perfectly fine. They ain't got to speak a lick of patois ever again. They go back to speaking Mandarin, right? And guess what? They just leave the country depleted, right? They come with their fair speeches. That's what she's doing. She's getting a lot of people ready to vote and vote for her. They say don't vote for your people. And they say, well, you know what? They're not going to vote for us. So what are we going to do? Put her in some Converse, right? Put her in some pearls, right? Let her say that she went to one of these black sororities. That'll get them, right? That'll definitely get them. So, Con, we went over that. All praises. Shalom, Dex. Good to see you, brother, right? But we have to be careful. These first speeches, they're going to deceive the hearts of the simple, right? And that's what brings us to verse 19. And this is what this is about. It says, for your obedience is come abroad unto all men. We got to let our obedience show as a nation. We got to come at these laws, statutes, and commandments. It says, I am glad, therefore, on your behalf, right? It says, I'm glad on your behalf. But it says here, your obedience is come abroad unto all men. So we're going to hold Romans 16 and 19. We'll get a precept to go with this first part. It says, for your obedience is come abroad unto all men. Right? We're going to hold this, and we're going to jump over to a book most of y'all probably don't even look at, because I know I haven't looked at it like that until it was time for the Most High to say, no, I need you in this book. To the book of Philemon, right? Going to the book of Philemon. Right, so where's that? Go to your index if you can't find it, right? To your index. It's in the New Testament. It's right after, it's right after Titus. It's one chapter, right? We're going to go in here. We're going into Philemon. All right. Well, if I'm saying it wrong, Philemon. I put Philemon. We're going to verse 21. Chapter 1, verse 21, right? And it says, having confidence in thy obedience, I wrote unto thee, knowing that thou wilt also do more than I say, right? Because this was an epistle of Paul, right? Because we were right here, it says, for your obedience is come abroad to all men. How did it come abroad to all men, right? How did it come abroad? Because Paul wrote a letter to our people, right? This is who he was dealing with, right? This is who he was dealing with. So it says, having confidence in thy obedience, I wrote unto thee. So this is when he says, for your obedience has come abroad to all men, because he wrote a letter, and he said in that letter, knowing that thou wilt also do more than I say, because he's telling them he has that confidence because he knows that what he's explaining when he goes into these different areas to speak to the Israelites, right? That they're getting it. Even though sometimes it may be difficult for people to understand, this is why we have to fast and pray, give alms, not just monetary, spiritual alms, but the Most High to increase your wisdom, knowledge, and discernment. As y'all come in and hit that like, share, subscribe, and spread this word of the Most High to the four corners of the earth, man. Because guess what? Esau is going to try everything in his power, right, to try to get people off track, to try to get people to go back to sleep. In regards to you're gonna wake up in a lake. You're gonna wake up in judgment, and it's gonna be your fault. We want to avoid that. We want to avoid the blood of our brothers and sisters on our hands. So we want to do what is right in the eyes of the Lord, right? So we're going back to 16 and 19. So we got, for your obedience has come abroad unto all men. I am glad, therefore, on your behalf. The reason why he was glad, he had that confidence, knowing that they were going to do more than what he was saying, right? Because he was warning them to watch out for division while he was in Rome, right? But he had to speak in similitudes. He had to speak in wise saying and utilize guile, because he already knew that the Romans were listening to see if he was going to break the algorithm of what they said he can talk about, what he can't. So we still in those same times, right? We still in those same times. So we have to be wise doing this. It says, but yet I would have you wise, right? It says, yet I will have you wise unto that which is good, right? Let's get the precept for that. We're going to hold this, right? Because he says, I will have you wise unto that which is good. We know what good is, right? We know what good is. We're going to get that too, right? Well, I'm going to go over to James the book of James 3:13. And it says, who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Right? It's asking a question, right? And it says, let him shew out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom, right? We have to utilize this meekness of wisdom, right? Con, good to see you. Shalom tab, right? Gotta hit that like, share, subscribe as y'all come in, right? Gotta restructure this algorithm. Because it says, again, it says, who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him shew out of a good conversation his works with meekness and wisdom, right? Because we have to show that the Most High and what he's showing us is wisdom. Keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Because look at verse 14, it says, but if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not. You don't glorify that, right? And lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish. For where envy and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. So we have to draw this line, right? In regards to these evil works. That's why when we read it says, but yet I would have you wise unto that which is good. That's what Paul is talking about, right? That's why in James, he's asking who is wise, who is endued with knowledge among you. He's asking a question. He's telling us to live wisely, right? He says, let him shew out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. He's telling us not to have bitterness and envy and strife in your hearts. That's why it says those who separate, we have to mark them, right? If they're operating outside of the doctrine that the Most High has given us, right? Whose Christ has given us, if we have to mark them and separate ourselves from them, he says, because look, it says, when we go down, it says in verse 16, it says, where envy and strife is, there's confusion in every evil work. So this is why we got to do that. Because he's telling us if we don't do this, we're going to be caught up in the delusion. We're going to be caught up in the matrix of the mind. You know what? Christmas isn't that bad. Oh, you know what? I want to see grandma on Thanksgiving. She may not got too long to go. The Lord will understand. Oh, this is where that confusion going to come in. This is where you're going to start saying, who do I love more than the Lord? Right? This isn't time to love yourself more than the Lord. To love your wife, your children, your husband, your brother, your sister. This is when it's time to lock in. That Valley of Jehoshaphat, if you ever seen them get a sports arena ready for the next game, they said it was an actual basketball court, but now they got a hockey game going on Friday, 2 days down the line. They got to get all the floor off. They got to put all the hockey stuff down. They got to freeze it out. They got to put ice down. They got to, hey, that's why some places don't operate like that, but some places do. Baseball field and football field, right? They got to get them lines off the field, right? They got to put the goalposts back up. They got to move the batter's cage out the way. They got to do all of that stuff. They do it. Some places have their own baseball stadiums, and some of them got their own football stadiums, but some places utilize the same place like the Lakers and the Clippers used to do until they created another arena for them, right? Well, I don't think they even created another reason, but that's neither here or there. But what is important is that we got to draw that line between our salvation in the Lord and the things of this world. Because if we do not do it, we're going to be right back in the world and not even realize it, bro. We're going to be right back in this world keeping these wicked holidays, allowing our children to do things they shouldn't be doing. If you're in the truth, right? If you're in the truth, we got to make sure we're standing up for the Lord to the best of our ability. Is it going to be tough? Yes. Is it going to be hard? Yes. This is why we have to pray for our brothers and sisters. When I say 12 o'clock prayer, 3 o'clock prayer, 6 o'clock prayer, 9 o'clock prayer, right? If you're still up, another 12 o'clock prayer. Pray before you go to sleep. Pray when you first wake up in the morning. Pray before you eat. Pray after you eat. Why are we not doing this as a nation, man? Why are we not doing this as a nation? We want the Most High to give us all the good things to help us and make our life a little bit easier in this captivity that we're in right now. But we're not willing to communicate with the Lord until there's a problem. And that's a problem, bro. That's a problem. We can't wait until we're in a medical situation to call on the Lord. We can't wait until we're in a financial situation to call on the Lord. We're in complete and utter danger. We think our life is on the line. Now it's time to call on the Lord. The Lord isn't, and he isn't like how we would assume a fire extinguisher works. Oh, there's a fire. Let me go get it. Why do you think you got to test that fire extinguisher out throughout the year? Got to make sure it works, things of that nature inside of a building. Because if you don't, guess what? That stuff, anything can go bad, man. We don't want our salvation to go bad. We don't want the actual fight that we're putting in for the kingdom to actually start going left and we veer off the road. Right? Yeah. I see you, Satan. You don't like it. You don't like it. We're not going to be going off into the ditch, right? We're not doing that. We got to stay on the path of the straight and narrow. We have to do that, right? Let's go back to Romans 16. We just read 13. We want to enjoy, because we want to make sure we enjoy the kingdom, or at least get the opportunity to do it. He done woke you up, right? What you going to do with it? He done showed you you're an Israelite. What are you going to do with it, man? Are you going to fight for the kingdom, or are you going to say, well, I know this world's going to be destroyed. I know Esau's kingdom's going to come to an end because it's already coming to an end. I know it's going to be a destruction. I know Christ is coming back with a sword to destroy that. Do you want to be on the other side of that blade? You want that blade aimed at your face? I know I don't want that. I don't want that for any of my brothers, sisters, any of their children, offspring, anything. But I know 2/3 ain't going to make it, right? I know they're going to make that decision and say, I'm going back into the world. And they're going to pay dearly for that, right? They're going to pay dearly. Everything that they love of this world is going to be destroyed. That's why it says you don't gather your riches on earth, man. Your riches and glories in heaven, because moth and rust will corrupt, right? This jury, rust. This watch, one day the battery's going to die. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff that we have, clothing's going to rip one day. This table's going to break one day, right? The only thing that's not going to break is the promises, the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has given, that his son's coming back with a sword. He's going to be destroying those who are not worthy of the kingdom, right? So it's time to draw a line asking, do I want to go to the lake of fire? Do I want to be left behind in a situation where I know what the destruction is going to bring? Because guess what? When they start pushing those buttons, right, and them ICBMs start going off, right, when that war starts coming across the border, right, them F-16s fly over constantly, you're gonna start realizing this Bible is real. When they start saying, "Hey, we're gonna take the Bible from you," you're gonna wish that you knew those precepts, right? We have opportunity while we have a little bit of liberty to do things, right? We have to avoid our favorite show, study, get in the Bible, right? Watch these classes, right? We got to start building ourselves up, because guess what? This world, these heathens, they waiting to sock you in your face with something you ain't never been hit before with. Jacob Trouble gonna be such a shock to a lot of people that thought that there was still some good heathens out here. There's some good Caucasians out here. There's some good Chinese or Japanese out. There's some good Africans, right? You assume that, right? They try to get you to avoid what tribe you're in, but they're not going to let you into the tribe that they're in. You got to know that at the end, once it hit the fan, they're not going to let you into that tribe, man. They're gonna treat you exactly as you were supposed to be operating under. They're gonna say, "Hey, I can't do that. My wife doesn't feel comfortable having you around, or this, that, and the other, because you're kind." Those words gonna start coming out. your people. They're going to start separate. They're going to draw the line on you in regards to it. They're not going to give a dang that you can't feed your child. They're going to kick you off their compound or send you back out into, it's going to be real rough and tough when you make that decision to go with them, right? But that's the reason why 16 and 19 hit so hard. It says, for your obedience is come abroad to all men. We have to show obedience, right? That's what it says, I'm glad, therefore, on your behalf. He's glad that your obedience will help you get closer to your goal, which is the salvation, right? It says, but yet I will have you wise unto that which is good and simple concerning evil, because we have to be wise on what's good in the world, right? We have to use the wisdom, law, statutes, and commandment. We know the difference between right and wrong, right? But we have to know how simple evilness is, bro. You can't wear that, sis. That's simple. She knows she can't wear that. She wouldn't wear it in certain places because she feel uncomfortable, right? But then she's going to wear it this other place. That's simple on her mind, but she's just avoiding the simplicity of it. Cut off the lights when you leave the room. That's simple. You don't want a high light bill, right? Cut off that stove. There's a baby in there that can reach that eye. That's simple. You don't want the child to hurt itself, right? Lock your doors when you go in the house. That's simple, right? You don't want somebody to come into your house that's not welcome, right? Pay attention when you cross the street. When you're driving, pay attention to the road. You don't want to get into an accident, right? These things are simple, right? Concerning evil. But think about it. The Lord's like, I'm going to give you documentaries on pork, right? Showing you that these porks have abscess. They have an assembly line. I seen this. I was just like, oh, Lord, I thank you for taking that away from me, showing me how eating pork was completely wicked. They had the pork hanging on a little belt going through, right? They got men in an all-white bio suit inside a factory. This is every pork factory. You can Google this. You can see the videos. It's on YouTube. It's on documentaries on Amazon. They're not hiding this, right? They have like a little prod thing. It's like a long, something that you would, if people have their nose pierced, their ears pierced, like a long needle. And what they're doing is, even though they got on the whole suit and they're covered, they're poking it like they don't even want to poke it, right? When they poke the pig, right, like in the legs, the thighs, certain areas in the body, and they can see like little lumps and stuff. When they poke it, it's like ski. You got a big old line of pus and blood coming out of it. Now, mind you, this pig has already been killed, right? It's already been bled out. But when they poke that, it's like an abscess, right, of bacteria and all this other gook and stuff, right, that's inside of this pork. They have that, they just a line of people poking it. And it's getting on them. They got this suit on. Bro, you could imagine the smell in there. It's the worst smell in the world. They probably got to get paid good money, but you know how Esau is, right? He ain't gonna want to pay him. Bro, when I seen that in that documentary, me and my rib was watching that, it was just like, oh my gosh, bro. If you ever had an abscess before, right, and that thing break, y'all know what it smell like, y'all know what it feel like, y'all know what comes out of it. It's complete, utter disgusting, right? This is what's in a lot of these unclean foods, right? Shalom like no other kind. Good to see you, man. Viva Ishikar, right? We have to draw the line, right? We got to draw the line. Because if we're saying, oh, it's okay to eat lobster, but you don't like roaches in your house, but you will go get a lobster. That's a big old sea roach with claws, right? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, King. I pray that the Most High is healing you, you know what I'm saying, after your surgery. Ray. Good to see you, man, right? But we have to draw the line. This is why it says he will have you wise unto that which is good and simple concerning evil. It's simple. Pig can't sweat. Pig eat everything. They'll eat another pig. They'll eat anything. You know what I'm saying? They'll eat anything. Why would you eat that? Now, what they're going to do is just say, well, this animal does this and this and that. It's not like a pig, bro. A pig is a walking garbage disposal, right? Just like a catfish is, right? It's like tilapia is, just like lobster, crab, all of these things. If y'all eating all of this stuff, if y'all eating these big old snow crabs and all of that stuff, What's cleaning the water that you're going to use to drink? What's cleaning the water that you're going to use to make food in your house, right? That you shower on your body with? What's cleaning that water? If y'all eating all the crustaceans at the bottom of the ocean that actually keeps the ocean clean, you think the Lord's going to say, well, they're eating everything, but I'm just gonna hold the water clean? No, the Lord not playing that. He's like, all right, y'all keep eating that. Watch what's going to happen. Watch what's going to happen. That's why a lot of people are being given the wisdom to learn how to live off the grid, because that day is coming, right? This nation is going to fall, right? The things that we enjoy, right? Cell phones, electricity, air conditioning, gas-powered vehicles, electric-powered vehicles, all of that's going to be coming to an end. They've given us movie after movie after movie after movie after movie in regards to it, right? After over and over and over, what you gonna do when it's too late, right? If you're not utilizing what is wise, right? Unto that which is good and simple concerning evil. If we're not trying to find out what's simple concerning evil, we can't blame nobody but ourselves. Because the Most High is like, I done given you every clue I could give you. I've given you my word. I've given you ample time. A lot of people look at it like, I ain't got a job right now. I'm trying to find a job, right? The Most High is your HR department, right? He can put a spirit on any of these people to just call you out of the blue. Hey, we know you haven't worked here in 3 years. I didn't know if your number still worked. Hey, you still know how to do the forklift? Or you still know how to do this or that? We could use you. And we're willing to pay you a little bit more. The Lord can put that spirit when he feel that it's time for you to do that. But how close are you getting to the Lord to where he says, okay, I'm going to give you this. I feel that you're ready to have it, right? We have to really look at simple concerning evil, right? I'm going to get that right now. I'm going to 1 Peter 3:9. It says, not rendering evil for evil. This is simple when it comes to evil. Oh, you did this to me, so I'm going to do that to you, right? That's holding a grudge. This is evil for evil, right? Because we got to look at how this evil for evil is actually showing out. You in the world is a girl that you're interested in, right? She's promiscuous, right? She's with your friend, right? But yet she's coming on to you. But your friend owes you, they owe you money. And he told this girl he ain't gonna pay you. And now she tells you that. And now you figure like, well, you know how I'm gonna get him back? I know he really cares about her. I'm gonna go lay with her. You're rendering evil for evil, right? Or a woman that say, I know that this woman is married to this man. I know he takes care of his household, takes care of his children, right? But I don't like that she don't make him lunch the way that he like. And I'm bringing him lunch to work, right? Rendering evil for evil. Railing for railing, right? But contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called that ye should inherit a blessing, right? We got to look at the fact of rendering evil for evil and why we should not be doing that, because ye are thereunto called, right? Let's get called real quick. Hold that precept. Let's go over to Isaiah 48, right? 48 and 12. Let's get the call real quick, because you got to understand that you're called, right? Why you're called, right? The book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 12. Hearken unto me, O Jacob, and Israel, my called. He didn't call no other nation, right? Just cut it out. Just really cut it out. He didn't call any other nation. How many times does the prophet have to tell us who they came for? Right? How many times does the prophet have to tell you who this is or who that is, right? Because the Most High is going to save his people for his name's sake, right? Because if you can save your child or your neighbor's child, you know in your mind in the back of your head, you can say, well, I'm going to try and save both of them. That's a lie. Let's cut it out. You're going to try and save your child with all your strength. And if you can save the other one, you may make an attempt. But the attempt that you make for your child, is going to be way greater than the attempt that you make for your neighbor's child, especially if that person's not in the truth or keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You definitely know what you're going to do. So let's stop the delusion of discernment, right? So, shalom, as y'all come on in, hit that like, share, subscribe, huh? It says, hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my call. So we're seeing who the called is, right? It says, I am he. I am the first. I am also the last, right? Because we have to understand the Lord is he's going to refine his people. He's going to rescue his people, right? He's calling us to constantly listen to his word because this isn't for everybody. It's not, right? There's no Moabite Christ. There's no Hamite Christ. There's no, well, they do got Edomite Christ, right? They already did the Caesar Borgia, right? And when they'll say, well, who did he use to get the image? Go look up Leonardo, right? That was his partner, right? That he painted out of love of his heart. That was his partner. And they utilized that image when they came with the Crusades, right? When they came to conquer our indigenous Latino and Native American brothers, they showed them Christos, right? They showed them the crucifix. And they said, if you savages, that's what they called them, you Indians, which just means slave or savage, right? It's a derogatory term, right? It's like BHI is, right? They said, if y'all don't worship this, we're going to eradicate everybody, right? They're going to, and when they meant every word of that. You've seen movie after movie after movie. When they showed up and got off them boats, it was always a problem when they pulled up. But they'll say, salvation's for everybody. They've never, ever at one point asked for forgiveness and tried to change their ways, because they will show you what racism looks like. When your child can't go to a certain school versus going to a school that's not safe for them to walk home, right? The area that you try to live in, that HOA tells you, nah, you can't, unfortunately, we had to reject your application. There were some things that we couldn't, the bank wouldn't show us this or that. All of that's a lie, right? All of that's a lie, right? They don't feel comfortable because they know at the end of the day what they've done to you, what they've done to your people. I mean, last weekend, by the grace of the Most High, I got to shake hands with a real Native American, a real Gadite or Reubenite, right, from Oklahoma. Not a $5 Native, right? Not a $5 Native, but an actual Native American. You could look at his facial, right, and see the sign was right there. You could look at both of them identical, right? But we had an Edomite came dressed up like Cartman on South Park when he went to Colorado trying to buy basketball players like a slave master. Had on the khaki pants with the suspenders, white tee, white shirt, long sleeve, right? All he was missing was that hat. He had an indigenous, he didn't have indigenous Latino with him, right? Y'all seen the video, go watch the video, right? He was like Cartman. When Cartman went to Colorado, how much for some of your, he didn't want to use the word slave, so he was using different words. And the coach of the team was like, what are you talking about? And he was using slave dialect with him, like he was a slave master coming about slaves, right? For his basketball team. But they throw this in your face. It's it's funny. But they know exactly who they are. They know it. They can sit here and play this game. Oh, it's not like that. You guys are no. We don't control the television shows. We don't control the radios. We don't control the record labels. We don't control any of that, right? We don't control any of that. No, we control it when we don't participate in it. That's how you control it. So we don't force these shows on people. We don't force these songs on people. Well, they're performing the song. Yes, because that person lived in such a low state of poverty that they were willing to sell themselves out to try to make themselves bigger than what they were and get themselves out of the situation that they were in. They were willing to actually do that. No different than an animal gnawing off their own arm or foot when they're trapped in a trap to get out of a situation. It might kill them. They may die, right? But they're willing to do that to get out of there. It's like that Mad Max movie, Fiona, or whatever it was called, right? The girl had got captured by the people who killed her family and stuff, right? And they had her chained up, hanging. It was out in the desert. And they was dragging the dude that was so-called helping her around on dirt bikes in a circle. There was not one indigenous, Latino, Native American, or Negro in their little posse, right? All Anglos, right? And it was dragging this dude around for what seemed to be hours in the sun till he killed him. And when the dude who plays Thor, he was supposed to be, I guess, the leader of their clan, went back to look for the girl, he just seen her arm hanging in the shackle. She had cut her arm off at the elbow, right? It's either at the elbow or the wrist, one of the two. But she cut her hand off to get out of there, bro. To get out of there. This is what our people are doing when they're saying, hey, I want my son to go to the NFL. I want my son to go to the NBA. When your child gets injured and that surgeon can't put a Band-Aid on that ACL, on that knee, or that spine, or that wrist, right? They're gonna throw your child back into the world and tell him that he's a bust. Look at how many points he averaged. Look how many turnovers he had, how many interceptions he threw, how many passes he dropped, right? They're gonna do that. We have to really look at, are we drawing this line, right? We got to draw this line because the NFL wouldn't be nothing without our people in the combine. Look how fast that boy ran in that 4.4. They out there like slave masters. Boy, he done did it. They love it. And they'll sit there and play, right? They'll sit there and play them games with you. But as soon as you can't do what they want you to do anymore, you out of there, bro. You out of there. How many times have y'all seen them talk about the Cowboys? Oh, their quarterback, Dexter, I think that's his name, I don't know, right? Their quarterback, oh, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, he wants to leave, blue, blue, blue. There's always something with us, right? But when the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers had all these accusations on him about there you go, Dak Prescott, right? When they had all these allegations on Roethlisberger, right? Doing all of that stuff when he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just put that on the rug. When them allegations on Peyton Manning came out with him doing all that stuff, they didn't pull his Papa John commercials. They didn't pull any of that stuff. They just put that mug, put it under the rug. Let's send them to the playoffs. Let's get them as far as we can get them. Same thing with Tom Brady, right? When he was doing the foolishness with his offspring, and they got the videos of him out there doing the stuff, man. P. Diddying his offspring. They get him out of New England. We're gonna put him out there in Tampa Bay, let him win a championship. He's gonna be the best quarterback ever. That's how they do it, right? That's racism right there. Because what racism is a strong belief and a strong push for your own race of people. So when they tell you, you guys are racist, we can never, in our wildest imagination, be racist as they like to do, right? Because we're the call. That's a problem for them, right? That's a problem. This is why a lot of these pastors don't read these verses, because they know that they want everybody to come and give an offering at their church. They want tithes from everybody, right? They want an offering from everybody, so they don't teach everybody, right? Because they know a lot of our people ain't gonna come to their church. It's too far to drive. I don't like this, I don't like that. They're not gonna show up. So how are they gonna have their new Benz, their $5,000 suit, their new Rolex, their Barbados trips every 6 months. How are they going to have that? Right? Because we got to really look at our situation. They know it. You think they haven't read this Bible? They know it, right? It says right here, it says, knowing that ye are thereunto called. We just got called, right? And, right, that ye should inherit a blessing. Guess what happened? Esau didn't get the blessing, right? Come on, right? Esau didn't get the blessing. He sought it with tears and said, you know what? I'm finna kill this man, bro. He done took the blessing that I didn't want. I didn't want the blessing. I came to him and sold him the birthright. And he got the blessing. He sold his own birthright. Willingly, because he was so hungry for some raw meat. Jacob said, all right, it ain't even done. Man, please, I'm about to die. Okay, go ahead and have some. But let me get your birthright, though, bro. Let me get your... Oh, but Jacob tricked Esau. Who do you think put that thought in Jacob's mind? The Most High. Because he already knew who he picked. We got to make simple concerning evil. He tricked him. No, he didn't trick him. His mother, now the scripture says, children obey your parents, right? His mother, which was a Syrian woman, came to him. The Most High put a spirit on her, right? Came to him and said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put this hair and stuff on you. You're going to go in there to Isaac, and you're going to get the blessing. He said, he told her, hey, I don't want to do that. That's being deceptive. Hey, that's like telling a lie. No, let that curse fall on me. You know why? Because she was a heathen. She wasn't an Israelite woman. Jacob didn't have the 12 tribes yet. But what he did have was those that he chose. He had his chosen people already, right? So we got to follow how this goes, right? This is why these churches don't teach this. They're going to teach come as you are. Stay as you are. Leave when you ain't got no more money for me. That's how that works, right? I don't care if you're an alcoholic. You come to church drunk as a skunk. Just don't interrupt my offering. As long as you put the money in that collection plate and you're not interrupting my offering and everybody else giving the offering, they don't care how you come to church, bro. You come in there dressed up like Tommy the Clown, crumping and everything. Big old rainbow afro wig, sitting in the front row. As long as that offering going, he don't care how you coming in there. They have no concerns with that. There's no dress code for church anymore. Woman can wear the shortest skirt, the tightest skirt, sit on the front row. The pastor's not going to do nothing but sweat and pat his forehead. Oh, man. Right? We got to draw this line, man. It's time to draw this line. Because at the end of the day, ye should inherit a blessing. Now, you probably say, well, what blessing was that? We read some of it in the call, right? Jacob and Israel, northern and southern kingdom. That's who the Most High came back for. That's his chosen people. That's his chosen seed, not the other nations, right? And it says this over and over and over and over. So why they never call the Bible races? Oh, they're going to get to that point. They're going to get to that point to where when they run out of doctrine, right? I said this last night. When they run out of doctrine to combat what Israelites are actually reading from the Bible and waking their people up to come off of drugs, to come out of single-parent homes, to rebuild the Black family, the Native family, the indigenous Latino family, right? To do exactly what the Most High said do, to stop celebrating these holidays, right? To keep these high holy days and these feast days. Then it's going to be, we got to take the Bible from them. We gotta take the Bible. That's what we gotta do, because clearly they're not doing what we want anymore. They know who they is. So the best thing we can do is take the Bible. So that way their children's children that they're gonna have won't know who they are based on that. They're already trying to change the narrative in school. Right? So then they're gonna try and change where you can have any Bible, but you ain't gonna be able to 1611. You ain't gonna be able to have the King James Bible. You're not gonna be able to have the Apocrypha. They're gonna allow you to have anything else. Right? All these different translations. Why do you think they put them out there? It's like setting bullets up. Setting your bullets up. It's like having OCD at the gun range. You come there with your gun in pieces. Up here's the spring. There's the barrel. Here's the trigger. It's not even in the. Here's the handle. There's the clip. Here's my eyes. Here's my earplugs. I got my target. Let me put my target up. They're doing everything in synchronization, right? Slowly, right? But as soon as that weapon is loaded and they take aim, they're going to let the clip go. Like y'all see in these videos, these boys got a switch. They call it a switch or the button on the back of these weapons. Just fully automatic weapons, right? Do you think that our people made that? Because let them tell you, we're dumb, right? Latinos, Negroes, Native Americans, we the dumbest people on the planet. Let them tell you that. They'll tell you that at the parent-teacher meeting, right? At the school superintendent meeting, right? Look at these test scores, they're down. Why do you think those schools in those bad, what they call bad neighborhoods, right? Why do you think their test scores are so low? Why do you think the kids don't care? Because they're creating different scenarios for these kids to actually not want to even care about educating themselves, right? And then once they do that, they utilize that right there and say, well, you're dumb. If we're so dumb, right? Then why is it a problem when we wake up and we start to educate ourselves based on our heritage? Why is that a problem, right? Why is that a problem? Why does that turn into borderline treason when we start to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments? Because they know exactly who we are. These heathen nations, these Ishmaelites in these corner stores, they know that you're an Israelite. They know exactly who you is, but they're still willing to sell you cigarettes or to sleep with a single mother so she can pay for Pampers. They're willing to do that. They don't care about our people. The same way the Moabites don't care about our people, right? They want to put these, they got you in the nail salon, everybody got masks on except you. They got the door closed, all them chemicals in there, right? And they just talking in their language about how much they hate you and don't like you, but they want you to pay $65 for a full set, right? With a $10 or $20 tip. So you can have these long nails that make you useless as a woman. You know how hard it is for a lot of these women to cook, clean themselves with them nails on? I wonder how many children or babies or infants been poked in the eye by one of these long fingernails, put the eye out. Not gonna talk about that, right? Not gonna talk about that. Them putting these chemicals in their hair to put down this glue and put these long wigs down. I saw a girl with her feet hanging to her hair almost down to the back of her feet. Just a bunch of weave, right? What happens if somebody's driving by and just snatch her hair? It'll probably break her neck right then and there, right? Or it gets caught on something, right? We got to really think about how they doing us, man. We got to draw that line. If we not drawing that line, boy, you're going to be a victim. You're going to be a victim out here, right? We got to understand that we're inheriting a blessing. Let's get that in Ephesians 1 and 11. It says, in whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestined, right? The Most High chose our people through the lineage of Abraham. He chose Isaac over Ishmael. He chose Jacob over Esau, right? He chose Abel over Cain. It's always been a choice that the Most High's made, right? Predestined. We had this inheritance. We were predestined to have this. You think they don't know that? You think they haven't read this verse and know who we are in the Bible? They're going to continue to put us in situations where we just forget a little bit more. Here goes some more Jordans. Go forget a little bit more. Here go a new rapper. We're going to forget a little bit more. Here go a new TikTok. Here go a new social media, right? Here goes something new to distract you with, right? Just a little bit more until you all the way back out in the earth, and now you're going to be hunted for prey easily. You're not going to know how to count on the Lord or call on the Lord, right? You're not going to know how to do it, right? It says, in whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of him who worketh all things. Who is that? The Lord. He worketh all things. So if we predestined by the Lord, is there some type of issue with the Lord? No, it's not. Right? It's not. It says, the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. The Lord has already predestined who was the children of Israel are. He's already predestined that. Christ was supposed to put us back in our land, right? When he returned. But a people who don't believe in Christ just magically applied themselves over there due to the Balfour Agreement, right? And we supposed to believe that. They think we're stupid, man. They think that we're just that dumb to not realize, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this situation, right? There's something wrong with this situation. Because we got to look at the scenario. This is what I said, simple concerning evil, right? We heard that word a lot in some of the scriptures I've just brought out previously, right? Because there's only one way to come out of this foolishness, to become wise, right? Let's get that. Psalms 19:7, right? And it reads, the law of the Lord is perfect, right? This is how we become perfect. The Christian church will tell you, you can't be perfect. But Matthew 5:48, Christ said out his own mouth, be ye perfect like my Father which is in heaven. So Christian church, the Christianity is teaching lies to people. They don't want to deal with that. Bring your offering. Come as you are. Be stupid. Come stupid, leave stupid. I just need your money because there's a tax write-off in my situation where I don't have to pay taxes, right? On my tongue itching like a mom, right? But it says the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. How do you become perfect? Your soul's converted when you're keeping the laws of the Most High. If you're an indigenous Latino, Native American, or so-called Negro, right? This is how you become perfect in the eyes of the Lord. You're not going to be perfect where it's like, oh, she got perfect white teeth. Her hair is the perfect texture. Oh, she has the eye color that I want. They think about perfection of the world, carnal perfection. You want a spiritual perfection, right? By keeping the laws of the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. When we keep that law, right? When we keep those laws, when we sin not, right? This is how we convert our soul into being perfect, right? It says the testimony of the Lord is sure. His testimony is sure. He says, he will never leave us nor forsake us. He's not a liar, right? Him or his son's not a liar. And it also says he changed not. This is the testimony of the Lord, right? He's a man of war. All of these things is the testimony of the Lord. But guess what we do? We go and say, we don't believe that. We don't believe the report. A lot of our people, that's not my Jesus. But they wonder why they can't pay their light bill, their gas bill, right? Why they ain't got no food in their refrigerator, why they just can't get right, why their house is falling down around them, right? Because they've made their choice. They drew their line, right? They're on their side of the line. They refuse to serve the Lord, right? But it says here, it says making wise the simple. Because being in the world, being carnal, you're simple. You're simple, right? That's why I said in Romans 16:19, it says, wise unto that which is good, right? Which is the law, right? We know that the law is good, right? Let's get it. We know that the law is good, right? And it says, and simple concerning evil. This is why Psalms 19:7 says, making wise the simple. How are you going to do that? You're keeping these laws. You're perfect. That's how you are wise unto which is good. We're going to get which is good, right? Let's get what is good. Because they'll tell you, hey, you got a few moments for the Lord? I'm good. There's none good but the Father which is in heaven. He is good, right? Christ told him that. But they'll tell you, oh, Christ and God is the same person. So I guess he just had a schizophrenia moment and just said, well, God which is in heaven is good, right? Nobody can see God, right? Let's really think about this. When y'all come with this, God is Christ, and Christ is God, the Most High God in heaven, and they're the same person, and he just had to come down and do this. Moses was obedient to the Lord, right? Abraham was obedient to the Lord. Neither one of them saw the face of God, right? Because the glory of the Lord, no man, and the scripture says no man could live and see God's face. So now when you do that, when you manipulate the doctrine and say that Christ is the Most High God, the Father of heaven, right? The Abba, the Ancient of Days. When you call Christ that, you're now creating, you're diluting the law, you're calling God a liar. You're calling his testimonies fake and false at that point. But people don't realize it, right? Because it is simple concerning the evil. That's why it says you got to be wise, which is good, and simple concerning the evil, right? Let's get that good real quick, right? Romans 7:12. Wherefore the law is holy, right? We know the law is holy. And the commandments holy, right? And just and good. That's what is good. The laws of God, because it converts the soul for you to be perfect. That's what's good. So when you say, hey, I ain't got time for God, I ain't got time to hear that, I'm good. You're not good. Not good in the eyes of the Lord, right? You're not good in the eyes of the Lord, because we have to make sure, right? That it says converted. When we think about that Psalms 19:7, right? It says the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul, right? The testimony of the Lord is sure, right? Because think about it. Hey, did you cut the lights off? Yeah. Are you sure? Yes. You look in the room, the lights are off. The testimony of the Lord is sure. Ain't nothing wrong with the testimony of the Lord. What happens is when people try to go in here and say, oh, well, God didn't say that, but it says it in the verse. Oh, you're misinterpreting that. Testimony is sure, man. The thing that's not sure is their testimony, their doctrine, their understanding, their belief. That's what's not sure, right? That's the reason why it's easy for them to go off and say it's okay to do that, right? That's where that problem comes in. Let's go over to 1 Corinthians, right? 14. 1 Corinthians 14, right? Y'all put a 1 in the chat for me. I want to just make sure that we ain't frozen or nothing has froze up or anything of that nature. If 1 or 2 y'all can put a 1 in the chat, just need to see the chat still going. I would appreciate that. Baba Kusha, right? 1 Corinthians 14:20, right? Because I don't know if anybody got questions or anything, but they like to do that. When the edifying of the nation starts getting too powerful, what they do is they freeze our chat out and make it look like the questions that the people that are answering, because they want edification, they try to make it look like it's not important to us, right? So the last thing I see on the chat is from Brother Tab, right? And it says, they are the cause and we are the effect. That's the last comment I see on the screen, right? So if they froze it from that point and y'all posted a comment in this chat, Salakia, right? I can't see it. That's the reason why I said, hey, y'all post a 1 in the chat. We trying to see what's going on, because Esau likes to take that crafty counsel. When you see the sheep being fed, when you see the edification coming, they try to do this type of thing. They try to use technology, right? They try to use that against us. But the Most High has the power over this. He has the control over this, man. His word does not go out void, man. Right? And since I don't see a 1, it's been over 30 seconds, then I can only assume that they've frozen our chat again, right? But it's all right. This word going to keep coming out. Thus say Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushua, right? 1 Corinthians 14:20, right? It says, brethren, be not children in understanding. We don't want to be childish when it comes to understanding. Well, he did it, I'm going to do it, right? Because now they have the women utilizing a term that they don't know the definition to. Sisters, y'all got to be very careful out here. They're utilizing y'all like a Trojan horse, man. They're utilizing y'all like a Trojan horse again, right? They'll say, he's a narcissist, right? He's using narcissism. They don't even understand what that word means, narcissist or narcissism, right? They are turning women into narcissists with their train of thought. All the panels, the talking points, all the women that they're putting out here. Yeah, you got to do this, sister, you doing that. They're turning y'all into narcissism. When they have people standing out there, right, and they'll have a woman come up and they'll say, hey, what do you think it is? Oh, you're a narcissist, right? He goes, do you know the definition of narcissism or narcissist? I don't have time for this. I don't have if you know everything, if you can utilize and throw that word out at a man, right, or another person, and you can't give the definition of it, how do you know that you're not operating under the guile of that actual word that you're using. Narcissists, what they do is they play victim a lot. They play the victim in regards to him. Now, you'll say, well, how do you play victim? Isn't that what your people do? This is where the racism comes in, right? You can't play the victim if you is the victim. Every movie, you're still the slave. You're still the thug. You're still the dude that doesn't have a father, no education, right? You're still the single mother on welfare in every movie, every television show, right? You want to know why your dad don't want you, why they're pushing that, right? The Tyler Perrys and all of these different film companies, right? They just had that movie, The Divorce, right? Where they had the black family, they had the pastor in church saying, hey, your son was wicked, he most likely went to hell. Hey, that's a great message. But then what do? They bring the mother in there, they try to make her impersonate the mother from Precious. The whole demeanor, down to the hairstyle. She come into church, she's upset at the pastor for being honest, right? She tells her children, snatch the body out the casket. She takes off all her clothes in the church, right? Making her look like a foolish woman. She makes her children, once again, there's no father for them. She makes them look like weak men. Y'all take that body out the casket, right? Because first she was going to take come on, get your brother, let's go. Then it says, no, I don't want the casket because y'all going to say y'all gave that to me too. They're making our women look ignorant. They're making our women look weak. They're making our women look as if they're unworthy of having a good man, right? A righteous man. They're doing this. They're throwing it right in our face, but they're going to call us racist, right? We can't be children in understanding, right? Because what they'll do is they'll take this scripture, this same scripture, 1 Corinthians 14 and 20, they'll take this same scripture, right? And say, well, when he said brethren, he was talking to everybody. Let's look and see who brethren is. Hold this for a moment. Because if you don't know who you is, right? If you don't know who you is, it's easier to tell you who you ain't and who you are with propaganda, right? Let's go over to Ezekiel 11 and 15. It says, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel, holy are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get you far from the Lord, right? Unto us is this land given in possession, right? Because they're going to tell us, they're going to tell the Native American, this ain't your land. We showed up, we laid with some of y'all women, we slaughtered your babies and children, and guess what? This our land now. This America. It's not Asterix anymore. It's America, right? Just like that Edomite when he came out to the street, right? He did pocket sand, right? While they was tearing him up with the scriptures, right? He couldn't do anything else. So you know what he says, the Captain Yard? Do you know the 7 mysteries of the Bible? You don't know that, do you? You know all this other stuff, boy, but you don't know this. Pocket sand, because you know what? When you Google that, there's no scripture that says it. It's a doctrine being taught in Christianity by pastors, right? You know why it's a mystery to them? Because this isn't their book. This is why they don't have the discernment or the understanding, because they can't keep the laws, right? This is why they will have a 2-hour sermon with 1 verse, 7 offerings, and 36 songs, like a mixtape. They're doing mixtape Sundays, man. That's exactly what they're doing. Come on in, get some donuts, get some juice for the babies. It's all right. We're going to go into the Bible. They're going to read 3 verses, and they're going to keep doing offerings. These people are starting to wake up and say, wait a minute, there's an ATM in the church, right? You're getting the text messages. We see that you didn't pay your tithes last week. You're getting emails. You're getting phone calls about not paying your tithes, right? But when you try to have a moment with the pastor, there's somebody that's going to come up and flock in front of him. Hey, he can't talk right now. He's busy, right? He's getting ready to go on a trip. His mind is focused on the scriptures right now. But I got a question. I got to Pastor, I need a question. I've given you 3 offerings. I don't have no more in my bank account. Come back next Sunday when you got a little bit more to give, right? Come back. Pastor just don't have time right now. You got to pay to have a meeting or have a conversation with your pastor now. They're not telling you this, right? A lot of people leaving the church for this reason, right? Leaving the church for this reason, right? Because again, we can't be children in understanding. They're doing it right in our face now. They're doing it right in our face. This is why they're telling you can't be a child to understand. You know the difference between good and evil. I tell my kids this all the time. When they do things that we told them not to do, I said, now, did I tell you to do that? Perfect example. I told my son, he asked me for something. I told him, no, wait, right? I had to go pay rent. I left the house for a moment, came back. I see him doing the exact same thing that I told him he couldn't do. Because guess what? He went to his mother, who didn't even know we had this conversation, and decides to beguile her and ask for it. He tried to make it sound real simple. And she said, oh yeah, go ahead, do it. Because she couldn't see the problem, and there was no reason for a problem. I told him no for a reason. He decides I'm going to play both sides against the middle. My dad used to tell me I did that as a child. And I didn't understand that until I became a parent, right? I didn't understand what playing both sides against the middle is, right? I would ask my dad, can I do something? He would say, no, you can't do it. Even though my mom and dad weren't in the same house, I asked him, hey, Dad, can I go do this? No. What I do is I go to my mom. Hey, Mom, my dad said no about this and that. Then now she get with my grandmother, right? And they would call and try and some kind of way finesse the situation to work out in my favor, right? I was playing both sides against the middle now, right? I was doing that. I was doing that as a child. Now, when I grew into an adult, that's what I said, brethren, be not children of understanding. I had to understand, hey, what I'm doing is wrong. That's not the way that the Most High has me supposed to be doing it. I can't go to Christ and say, Lord, 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 your father said I can't inherit the kingdom. Can you please sneak me in? I know I've sinned. I know I've done these things, right? You can't go to Christ and try and backdoor the Lord. You can't do that. It don't work like that. It's not going to work like that. People think they're going to be able to backdoor their way into the kingdom. They can sit here and say, how do you know that 12 tribe chart is real? You're going to find out how real it is when it tells you in the Bible, in Revelations, 12 gates, 12 angels for the children of Israel. Where does it say any other gate? Christianity says it says other gates. It don't say that. It does not say that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But Christianity will teach you that there's more than one. You got to go to the pearly gates. You're going to be with the Lord. Why y'all skipping this? Why y'all skipping it? Why y'all skipping that 12 gates for the 12 tribes of Israel and there's angels standing in front of these gates? If you're not of these 12 tribes, you can't get in. Why y'all teaching against that? You know why? Because they know that they're not going to heaven for the reason that we're going. They know that they don't have any salvation. They know that. And when you're upset about that, you can't get upset with me. The Bible says it. I didn't write the Bible. I just followed the Bible. You got to deal with that, right? I haven't seen nothing in the chat, but it completely froze the chat. Esau, you get another 500 lashes on your back for that, right? You get another 500 lashes, right? But it says again, it says, be not children in understanding. Howbeit, and malice be children, right? Just like children can get into a tussle. They fight over a toy, and one child sock the other child sock them back. They separate the children, right? They take the toy from the children. Those children ain't gonna be in a situation where they don't want to deal with one another. One of them children is gonna come over to the other child, and that child's gonna forgive them. They may not use the words because some babies don't talk, right? As we would allow ourselves to hear, but they communicate, right? They're gonna basically be playing with each other 30 minutes to an hour later, or falling asleep, napping. They fell asleep on one another, right? And malice be children. Be willing to forgive your brothers and sisters of Negro, Indigenous, Latino, and Native descent. But you have to be very careful, right? The Edomites, y'all broke the brotherly covenant. Y'all broke it, right? That's why the Most High said he would never forget it. Write it as a memorial. He told Moses, write it as a memorial. Y'all can't get away from that. But y'all have tried to. Y'all have tried to use Paul to break the word of the Most High. Paul said this, Paul said that. Paul said a lot of things that y'all won't listen to. Paul said a lot of things that y'all refuse to do, right? Paul did that. But when it comes to going against the commandments, it's, oh, well, Paul said this, Paul said that, right? Paul said, howbeit in malice be ye children, but in understanding be ye men. Be an adult when it comes to understanding. But when it comes to malice, be like a child, be forgiving, have a forgiving heart. Let that slide, right? Forgive them, ask for forgiveness for them, and then that understanding, be an adult, right? Because let's get malice real quick. Let's get the definition of precept for malice. We'll go over to Sirach 28:7. Right? Let's get what malice is. The book of Sirach, chapter 28, verse 7. Remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the highest and wink at ignorance, right? This is what they're telling you to do. Howbeit in malice be ye children. Wink at the ignorance, right? Be forgiven. Hey, you know what? All right. I'm going to let them make it. Lord, forgive them. It's like Christ had to wink at our ignorance, right? For our people putting him on the cross. Not all of us wanted him up on that cross. But those who wanted to stay in the wickedness of the Romans and do as in Rome, they want to do that. They wanted to break their obedience to the Lord. They needed Christ out of there. Give us Barabbas. Give us that lion engine, right? Give us that criminal right there. We don't want Christ. Christ is making us, you know what I'm saying, say our prayers and eat our vitamins and our vegetables, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, right? He was asking too much of our people, so they think, right? He wasn't asking too much, right? He said, come at these law, statutes, and commandments. You want heaven, do this. You want to see the Father, do this, right? Follow my example that I'm leading for you, right? But what did they do? They tried to kill all the disciples. They were successful, right? They tried to famish the word, right? So they thought they were successful, right? They tried to block the prophecies, right? Media blackout, shadow banning, and all that foolishness that they do to people. They try to create issues to where it's going to be illegal to speak against the heathen nations and the atrocities and abominations that we experience here in modern day Babylon, right? It's going to be a problem. But Sirach 28:7 says something very simple. Remember the commandments is the first thing. Not forget the commandments. Not the commandments are done away with. Not Christ died on the cross, so there's no more commandments. It says, remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Who's the neighbor, right? We know who our neighbor is, our kindred. We just went into that with brethren in Ezekiel 11:15. We know who our people are. Indigenous Latinos, Native Americans, Negroes. We're all of the same bloodline. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether you agree with that or not, we are. That's the reason why they want to keep us as separated as possible, because they know once we get back together, right? Once the Most High puts that spirit of understanding back on our people, that's going to be a problem for wicked Babylon, right? It says, remember the covenant. Who was the covenant with? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. That's who the covenant was. Oh, we're under the new covenant. No, we're not. We're not under the new covenant yet. You know why? Because the same person that y'all will put over Christ, because these Christianity converts will put Paul over Christ all day long. They'll do that, right? They'll do that all day long. Well, it says this, it says that. What did Christ say? What did Christ say, right? It says, remember the covenant of the highest. The Most High gave us that covenant, right? He hasn't given us the new covenant yet. He explained to us what the new covenant was, proving how we're not in the covenant, right? Because if we were in the covenant, there would be no need for a church or pastors, because guess what? The laws will be written on everybody's mind and heart, as the scripture says. But why is there churches asking for a tithe? Why is there churches still open? Why are there still religions still going if we're in the new covenant? Ask yourself that. Because what the scripture says and what you believe and understand is two different things, right? This is the reason why they've stopped the chat. This is the reason why. So if y'all scoffing in the chat, I can't see it. If y'all asking questions in the chat, I can't see it. The last thing I saw was Brother Tab saying they are the cause, we are the effect. When I was talking about that press shot, which was probably 20, 30 minutes ago, right? This is what they're gonna do. Because guess what? There might be somebody that's on the fence that don't believe the report, right? That's asking questions. How can I seek salvation? They figure if I stop the chat, he's not going to answer that question. He's not going to go to that precept. They're going to stay in delusion. That's what they're looking for, right? That's all those things, right? We got to have understanding, right? It says, but in understanding be men. Let's get that. 1 Ezra 1 and 33, right? Let's get that 1 and 33. It says, these things are written in the book of the stories of the kings of Judah and his glory and his understanding in the law. This is what we have to have understanding as men. His understanding in the law. This is the understanding of men right here. Of before. And the things now recited are reported in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. What things are recited? The laws, statutes, and commandments. Those things are the things that are being recited, right? Those are the things that's being recited. This is where we have the understanding of men, right? You know why we need the understanding of men? It's time to go ahead and get into it. Jeremiah, right? 4:22. This is why we need the understanding of men, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, right? You know why? You know why? I'll show you why. Jeremiah 4:22. It says, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. They have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge, right? This is the reason why we need the understanding of men, right? This is why we need what is recited in the law, statutes, and commandments, because our people can be foolish, being carnal, not having understanding, not believing the report, not looking exactly at what the Bible says and says, well, not my Christ, not my Jesus. Grandma, you're wrong, right? Granddaddy, you're wrong. Auntie, you're wrong. Uncle, you're wrong. Mama, daddy, you're wrong, right? God is the only one that is right. The Most High God, he's the only one that is right, right? He's the only one that is right. Now I see the numbers playing around. It'll be up to 35. It'll be up to 40. The likes will be up to 35. Now it dropped down to 26. See, that's how they play them games, right? That's how they play them games. It says, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. When we're not keeping these commandments, we don't know the Lord. When y'all out here thinking y'all can go to these day parties, we're going to have us a seafood party. We're going to do this. We're going to have an all-white party. You're not knowing the Lord, right? You're showing the Lord that you are a sottish children, right? They have none understanding, right? The reason why they don't have that understanding of men, as we were told in 1 Corinthians 14 and 20, right? In 1 Ezra 1 and 33, because they're not keeping the commandments. This is where Psalms 19 and 7 comes in. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. Their soul isn't converted. This is why they're stuck in the foolishness, right? Because they don't know him. They're the sottish children. They have none understanding. They don't keep the commandments. So their understanding is low. It's dropped, right? It says they are wise to do evil. Guess what? This is why it said in that Romans 16 and 19, simple concerning evil. It says wise unto that which is good and simple concerning evil. This is why it says we have to be as a child when it comes to malice, being able to forgive and to get over those problems that we have with one another in our 12 tribes, right? We got to draw that line to know that these heathen nations, right? These so-called Anglo-Saxons, right? Which are Idumeans, these Ishmaelites, right? Selling us cigars and cigarettes and all types of beer and keeping our people down in society. They say, well, hey, you're playing the victim. How? There's no corner stores in the not middle class area. They ain't really got corner stores over there, right? They got a gas station, got a Quick Trip. They got a gas station where you can get that kind of stuff, but not in the hood. They got a corner store They got a little corner market on every street, right? You go in there and play your lottery that you ain't gonna never win. Get your scratch offs. You ain't gonna never win like that, right? Because they want you to keep giving that money to them, right? Play the lottery every day for your whole life. You win a little bit, but you're never gonna win like you want to win to get you out of that situation, right? You're gonna keep selling drugs in front of the store. You're gonna keep getting arrested. You're gonna keep telling on your brothers or telling on whoever you gotta tell to get out. You're gonna keep it's perpetual, but that corner store is gonna stay there. You go in the rich areas, you're not gonna find a corner store. You're not. You're gonna see a farmer's market. You're gonna see a Bass Pro Shop, right? You're gonna see areas Bentley of Highland Park, right? Bentley of Boca Raton, right? You're gonna see these nice things. Bentley of Hollywood, Mercedes of Los Angeles. You're going to see these types of scenarios, right? But not in our areas. You're going to see the corner stores. You're going to see 101 pawn shops, right? You're going to see a bunch of fast food restaurants, right? You're going to see a bunch of nail salons. You're going to see a bunch of thrift shops, right? You're going to see a bunch of, urgent cares, right? We don't want you in our hospitals. You go to urgent care. Let me give you some aspirin and a Band-Aid. They ain't gonna fix that. Hopefully you go back home and you unalive yourself by doing something wrong, right? They got all of these scenarios in our area, but not in their area, right? To do good, we don't have knowledge. Sis, you shouldn't be wearing that. You shouldn't be doing that on social media. You can't tell me what to do. Son, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing. You can't tell me what to do. Everything turns in you can't tell me what to do. You're being too tough. You're being too rough. I don't like this. I don't like that. Because you want to have the carnal. But then they want us to come get them out of these situations. When you're in a situation, who's the first person you're going to call? That same person that was too rough. Right? That same person. Because mama going to be in shambles. She's not going to know what to do. She going to need you to do it too. Right? And this is where we have to start asking ourselves, I'm going to keep doing what's right until Christ returns. And when he returns, I'm going to still keep doing what's right. Thus say the Lord, not thus say me, thus say the Lord, Most High willing. Because at the end of the day, he don't need any of us. He don't need any of us. It's him wanting us, right? It's a difference between, like, they'll say, well, how long can you stay married? How long can you be lovable as a person? You can be a lovable husband. You can be a lovable wife. That's how long you can stay married, right? Because our grandparents had tougher things to deal with. Our great-grandparents had tougher things to deal with, man. And they stayed married for 50 years, 30 years. It wasn't arguing over the money in the house like that because guess what? Grandma wasn't working. It was too dangerous for her to work. And they said, well, times have changed. We can go out and get a job. Then why is there sexual harassment? Why are women out here getting lawsuits for sexual harassment if that's not dangerous, right? You're a single parent. If you don't sleep with the supervisor or the manager, guess what? You're fired. That's not dangerous to your children. It's not dangerous to your way of life. It's not dangerous to your transportation, right? But they'll say, oh, it's different. Oh, right? Yes, women can go out here and get a job, yes. But you have to be built up in the mind, right? To know that, hey, these things are out here waiting for me. This man may give me attention at work, right? This work husband, work wife BS that they got going. All of that's folly, right? This is the reason why it says, but to do good, they have no knowledge. Our people are being foolish, falling for these things, man. And then when the husband come up there or the wife come up there with that automatic weapon, and now it's a catastrophe, right? It's casualties, right? They want all the GoFundMes to go up. They want everybody to feel bad for it. No, right? Because our people, they're stubborn, right? Isaiah 1:3. Our people are stubborn. You know how stubborn our people is? The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. An ox knoweth his owner, right? Stubborn animal, knows his owner. He couldn't just let anybody come out there and put the stuff on him and to do the work, right? They're going to probably meet them horns, right? An ox knoweth his owner, and an ass his master's crib, right? An ass, you drop a donkey off in Oklahoma and you're in Dallas, that donkey know how to get home. It knows how to get home. It's a stubborn animal, but it's wise enough to know how to get home, right? It says, but Israel do not know. My people do not consider. They don't give a damn. They could care less, right? It's back to school. I got to get on OnlyFans, right? I got to get my subscribers up on OnlyFans. I got to pay for back to school for the children, right? That's foolish. They do not consider, right? The stubbornness. They can keep the laws. You in the truth. You can be doing this the right way, but you still trimming your ways, but yet you're in the truth. You in the truth, right? Don't allow your daughters to wear pants in the truth. Don't allow them to dress like a boy, right? You know the answers, right? Don't allow your boys to go out here and be effeminate. You know the answer, right? Don't allow your boys to be a whoremonger, right? This is if you're a parent in the truth, right? If you're a child in the truth, don't sit there and act like you didn't know that mama was smoking while daddy was at work. You need to rebuke her on that. And if she don't like it, oh well, she just don't like it, right? Get your evidence together. Get your one or two witnesses together, right? So when you rebuke her on that because you care about her salvation, right? You could care less about the carnalness of the sin that she's doing. You care less about that because that's going to put her in hell. But you get your thing together because when she's tired of you rebuking her, she's going to come and say, hey, we got to get him out of here. We got to get her out of here. I don't like the way she's doing this and that. And then you got to get out of my house, right? Daddy confused. He don't know what's going on. He just hear that, hey, you got to get out of my house, right? Playing with the numbers again. Everything going up and down. It's crazy, right? But when you show that video proof, mama smoking, you rebuking her and catching her on camera smoking, right? When she's exposed text messages in her phone, or she's exposed being out and about on the town, or you expose daddy for being out with that woman at your football games, right? When you expose these situations, they got to tighten up, right? We got to do what's right, man. We have to consider if we were given the actual inherit of the blessing, right? As we read in 1 Peter 3:9, right? Then we have to understand what the outcome is of us not actually considering, right? We got to know the outcome of that because that's where a lot of our people, they don't consider the outcome. What's the outcome? Hosea 4:6, right? It says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You don't think our people destroyed? Go ride through, go over there by the Dickey outlet in Fort Worth, right? You're going to see a lot of people living under bridges. All throughout Texas, you see that in the cities. People got tent cities under. So when it's cold, it's I don't know what, they out there freezing like I don't know what. When it's hot, it's I don't know what, they out there burning up like I don't know what. Our people are not considering. Our people are destroyed, man. It hurts my heart to see brothers and sisters downtown of indigenous, Latino, Native American, or Negro digging in the trash, right? Esau going among his ways. They only catching the subway to go to the game because they don't want to drive their expensive car. They don't want to pay for parking. So it's like, you know what? I don't want to pay for parking. I'm just going to catch the train and catch an Uber home, right? I live deliciously. It's fine. I don't care, right? But our people out there on drugs, out there sleeping on the street, they're fine with that. They could care less. Don't touch me. Ugh. Get away from me. Ugh. They don't care that the deeds of their ancestors and their people, right, have helped put them there, right? Because we got to use the word help put them there. Because the other part is exactly what I'm reading in 4:16. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And knowledge is keeping these law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, right? Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. You wonder how you're living under a bridge. You wonder how you're losing everything, right? Because at some point, you rejected this knowledge, right? We can't trim our ways, right, for love, as the scripture says. We can't reject the knowledge, right? It says, I will also reject thee. You don't want to be rejected by the Lord, bro. That's a real horrible thing to get rejected by the Lord. If y'all coming into the chat, if y'all coming into the live, and y'all are asking questions or saying shalom or shalom or speaking and I'm not responding, they're frozen the chat. Chat's frozen. So I can't see none of your comments. Y'all can hit the little emojis on the side, things of that nature. I don't see any of that. The last thing I seen was Brother Tab posted something saying that they are the cause and we're the effect in regards to how we actually live, right, with these heathens, right? It says that thou should be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children, right? These were the judgments brought on people for the sins. Because did everybody fall into that category? No. There were people that was keeping the commandments, the laws, the statutes, right? He was speaking to the 2/3 club. He was speaking to those that was on the fence. He was speaking to those who were thinking about going into sin, right? He was sending that warning, right? That's why he was sending that warning through Hosea, right? But a lot of our people ain't want to listen to that. That's why our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Let's get knowledge, man. What is knowledge, right? We can get knowledge. I'm going to get a different precept for knowledge. We can go to the easy one. Let's go to one that a lot of our people don't hear often, right? The book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 19. It says, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. We know what doctrine is, Proverbs 4:2. The doctrine of life. It says the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality, right? It says the fear of the Lord is all wisdom. Fearing the Lord, keeping those commandments, that's all wisdom, right? And it says, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency, right? And you can get that in Psalms 41:10. You can go to 2nd Ezra 7:24 to get the precepts for those two verses that I just brought out. Because we got to see what the knowledge is. He keeps saying knowledge. You rejected knowledge. They have no knowledge. They didn't do anything with knowledge, right? But it says right here, plain and simple, right? Because when we go up we say, well, we can't be perfect. We go to Psalms 19:7, says the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul into what? Perfection in the eyes of the Lord, right? There's the testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Right? But then we read this right here in Sirach 19:19. It says, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. Don't y'all want to live? Don't y'all want to get into the kingdom? Right? Don't y'all want to inherit the tree of life? It says, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of life. Right? So if it's saying that the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, right? I want to stack that up with my favorite precept in Sirach. Sirach 7:1, do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee, right? We just read that. Sirach 7:1, do no evil, so no harm shall come unto thee, right? It says the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him, please who? Please the Lord, right? Shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. We were supposed to be immortal. When Eve took that fruit, gave it to Adam, Adam was weak for the woman. Guess what? Here we are in society now, right? We can't do anything to change that, but keep these laws, the knowledge of the commandments, the doctrine of life. You want to live? Do these, right? Verse 20, fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord is of all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency, right? That's where the people don't seem to understand, right? Because it's saying that they're destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Jump down to 22. It says the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, right? Neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence, right? We got to really think about it. We're lacking the knowledge. We're running into these problems because of that, right? This is where we are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, right? You know why? Let's go back. Isaiah 5, right? Let's go back to Isaiah 5. We got to seek the prophets while we can, right? We got to seek the prophets. Isaiah 5:13, right? Now we see what knowledge is. Let's go to Isaiah 5:13. It says, therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. We just read what knowledge was, right? We just read what wisdom was, right? Keeping those commandments, right? Right? It says, therefore, my people are gone into captivity. Who went into captivity, right? Who went into captivity? He said, they're gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, right? Their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst, right? Thirst of the water of the word, right? Famished because guess what? These saints, we going through it. They beating us down with doctrine and indoctrinating our children into doing wickedness, our women into wickedness, our men into wickedness, right? You can be a Saddlebot. You can be anything, but when you say you're an Israelite, oh, wait a minute. No, that's the problem. We got to cut off all the lights. We got to do this. We got to get them out of there. We can't have that. When Kyrie said, right, without saying, I know who I am, right? They was mad about that. When he explained he knew what he was, they was mad about that, right? They tried to bankrupt this man. You got to get $500,000. You got to go through all of these different programs. But when these Edomites do it, they don't make them go through that. When they do all of these atrocities and stuff like that, they don't make them do any of this public apology. They don't send them through any of this rigmarole that they send them through. It's okay. It's all right. You're not guilty. You're one of us, buddy. That's how they do it, right? But they'll tell us, oh, you guys are teaching racism. How? If the sheep say, I'm not going to be eaten by the fox anymore, we're going to do this to stop ourselves from getting eaten by the fox. Do you think the fox is going to come through the forest and say, hey, y'all sheep over there teaching racism? I'm supposed to be able to eat y'all. I'm supposed to be able to come destroy y'all however I want to. See, that's the foolishness right there. This is the lack of wisdom, right? It says, our people are gone into captivity. They say, y'all people ain't gone into captivity. We're not slaves. We're free. Okay. So if that's true, you understand that, then why does Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 41, why does it say this? Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity, right? What was Isaiah pulling this from? He was reciting the actual curses and blessings from the Lord in Deuteronomy, right? Because it says, and we jump up to 15, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and all his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, right? And we look at Isaiah says, therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, right? And then when we read 41, Deuteronomy 28, 41, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. So, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't. They always say that, right? They always try to say that, but we got the proof. This is the reason why they want to try to attack the Bible by attacking Israelites. Oh, y'all out here teaching these people hate. No, we're not. We're teaching our people to hate sin. That's what we're teaching them to hate. If we're teaching them to hate anything, we're teaching them to hate sin and the heathens, right? Because their ways have kept us in sin, right? If you look at Judah chapter 5, 19 and 20, they know that if they kept us in sin, we can't win. And it'll be our end, right? James, we're going over the book of James 4 and 17, man. All right? Because we gotta really, really think about what we're doing, right? The book of James, chapter 4 and 17 says, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So we know to do better. We know what the law, statutes, and commandments say. We know what Sirach 71 say. Do no evil, shall no harm come unto thee, right? We know to do the right things, but are we doing it? That's what you got to ask yourself. Are you doing thus say the Lord? Or are you doing the satisfaction of thy belly? Meaning you doing things that satisfy you, right? Because again, it says, therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. That's a sin at that point, right? That is a sin. Because let's go to Hebrews, right? Let's prove that. Let's prove it. Because it say prove all things. Let's prove it, right? Hebrews 10 in 26, right? It says, for if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth. There's that word knowledge again, right? There's that word knowledge again, because what did it say, right? Isaiah 5:3, it says, therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, right? Knowledge of what? The law, statutes, and commandments. We've read that in Sirach. We just read that in Sirach, right? It says, again, Hebrews 10:26, for if we sin willfully, after that which we received the knowledge of the truth. How are we sinning willfully? It says, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. If we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. You're gambling with your grace, man. You're gambling with your grace at that point, right? Because you are willfully sinning. Oh, I'm going to go lay with this prostitute. Oh, I'm going to go out here and buy some drugs. Nobody got to know. Oh, I'm going to go sell my body online and just not show my face. Nobody's going to know. Somebody's going to know. Somebody's seen that body before. Somebody's seen that tattoo. Somebody's seen that blemish. Somebody remember that thing that was in that room. The Most High is going to bring that to remembrance, right? He's going to do that. A lot of people operate in sin secretly, so they think. They don't think that angels are writing everything down. They assume that. Right? They're going to be really, really surprised when they run into the angel and they pull out all the things that they have written on them. I didn't do that. You know why? Because they're going to do the same thing Sarah tried to do Abraham. When she laughed in her heart, she tried to lie to God and said, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. What are you talking about? I didn't do that. This is the narcissism that I talk about that plagues our women. It's different spirits that create this. So now the thing is think about it. The same way that the Candy Curl clique will try to use that word and say you're anti, knowing that we are the same thing that they're saying we're anti to. They're teaching our women to say men are narcissists. You have toxic masculinity. They want our women to not be desired by men anymore. But the women are unwise. They'll say, I want a high value man. All these women want to do is to have a trick. That's it. They want someone that's going to pay for their vacations, pay for their hair and nails, and give them this luxurious lifestyle, and they can go and do whatever they want with whomever they want, however they want. That's what they want. This is high level narcissism. Right? And that's a spirit that they're pushing onto our women. You're independent, right? What do you think Cowboy Carter was with Beyonce? She was basically channeling a sodomite, a sodobot, right? I saw that. I said, I showed this to my rib. I said, look at this. You think she just wanted to, I'm from Texas. You think she wanted to do that? No. They said, this is what's going to help get you over this next hump, because nobody's really buying your music. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have you dress up like a Sodobot. The Sodobots are going to know that you're doing that, and they're going to buy some of your music. We're going to reinvent your identity under this, right? They're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep throwing it right in your face like you're a dummy. You're not going to get this. You're going to think she just wants to be a cowgirl, right? That's what they're assuming on that, right? But we got to do something as Israel to prevail against this, right? Matthew 5:16 is what we got to do, right? It says, let your light so shine before men, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? It says, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven, right? You got to make sure you doing of the good works, right? I'm going to get Sirach 39 and 33, right? Because they oh, you ain't got to do, you got to do that. Okay. Sirach 39 and 33, and it reads, all the works of the Lord are good, right? And he will give every needful thing in due season, right? Because 34 says, so that a man cannot say, this is worse than that. For in time they shall all be well approved. And therefore praise ye the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of the Lord. He's telling you, hey, you're going to go through some tough times. Things are going to be tough. You're going to have hard conversations. You got to do things that you just like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. But guess what? The Most High is telling us what to do right there. I'm going to read it again, right? It says, all the works of the Lord are good. All the works of the Lord, keeping his commandments, letting your light shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And right here, 33 goes right with that. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season. So when it's your time to be blessed with that, he's going to bless you, right? It says, so that a man cannot say, this is worse than that, right? This is worse than the time that this happened. This is way worse than the time that happened, right? It says, for in time, they shall all be well approved. So those things that you're going through that got you in your darkest times. I'm not sure if you want to be an Israelite. Not sure if you should be an Israelite. If you should leave the world, then come into keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You got to think about it. All the works of the Lord are good, and he shall give every needful thing in due season. Can't pay my rent. It's coming. Can't pay the car note. It's coming. Children don't want to listen to me. It's coming. Husband don't want to do it. It's coming. Wife don't want to do it. It is coming. Trust me. Because the Most High said in his due time, you're not gonna be able to praise him enough. You're gonna need 2 mouths to praise him. You're gonna be praising him so much, right? Because it says, so let your light shine before men by praising the Lord, by exalting him, even through your tough times, just like Job did. This is Christ saying this, right? Because the Most High's people, we the one that make a difference at the end of the day, right? And hit that like, share, subscribe as y'all come in. If you're posting comments and questions in the chat, Salakia, they have went ahead and they dislocated my chat, bro. It's been like that for over an hour. So I'm not ignoring y'all brothers and sisters that are coming in, that have questions and things of that nature. I'm not ignoring y'all. They have frozen my chat. I say it again. They have frozen my chat. Salakia for that, all right? Esau gonna get an extra 500 lashes for that, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to let my light shine before men, right? That they may see the good works of us edifying the nation. We hear every day, thus say the Lord, at his will, right? He said, and glorify your Father which is in heaven, right? Our Father, see, we got to think about it. Why would Christ say, glorify your Father which is in heaven, and he's standing right there saying that? Christianity, y'all need to cut that out, man. Christ and God is not the same person. They're on one accord, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of being in order under that banner, right? But you can't make Christ a schizophrenic. Why would he be talking to the people, right? And say, your Father which is in heaven, but you're standing there on the earth, and nobody can see the face of God, but they see the face of Christ. Make that make sense. Y'all can't make it make sense, right? Maybe this chat is frozen for y'all own good, man. Maybe this chat is frozen for y'all own good. Because y'all be in here getting cut up to nicely little cube pieces, man. Like that little thing that they used to burn styrofoam. It looks like a bunch of boxes. Like if you took wire and went vertical and went horizontal, right? Bunch of squares, and they dropped styrofoam on it. And as it falls on the styrofoam, it's so hot, it just burns the cubes perfectly without burning them. They make those little styrofoam things that go in a box. Instead of making the little popcorn things, they got different little cubes and shapes that they can make out of the styrofoam to put, your things in there so they don't break, right? That's how we got to do the sin. We got to put the sin on that and sear it, get it out of there, right? We have to glorify our Father which is in heaven, right? We have to praise him no matter what we're going through. We have to draw that line. That if we're not drawing that line, then how do we know what side we're on? How do we know who we're with and who we're for, right? Brothers and sisters, you got to draw that line, man. You're going to have to draw that line because they're going to draw the line on us. Believe it. They're going to draw down and draw that line on us, right? We got to make sure we understand these good works, right? We got to make sure that our works are good, right? At all times, because if we're not doing that, then we know what side of the line we're on, right? We know that, right? We know that. Because this is a good precept that was brought out at Camp 101 last night. Romans 3:13, it says, for rulers are not a terror to good works, right? But to do evil. But to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power to do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same? We can't be afraid to do good. We can't put it on, oh, I got to go in here and do this and do that. This is the reason why I tell y'all 12 o'clock prayer, 3 o'clock prayer, 6 o'clock prayer, 9 o'clock prayer, prayer when you wake up in the morning, prayer before you go to sleep. This is how you deal with the enemies of the Lord. Through prayer, through fasting, right? Every Tuesday night to Wednesday night, my family, we fasting now. We did it last week. We did it this week. I compel you. I charge you to start doing that in your household as well. You need that spiritual detox weekly. You need that spiritual detox. That's what I call it. When you fast, you need that spiritual detox. You need to get them spirits off of you, right? You need to start getting more and more of those spirits off of you. Yeah, it's gonna, oh, you feel like this, you feel like that. Oh, I feel, no, you need them spirits coming off of you. That's why you're feeling like that. You need to go through that affliction. And when you're going through the affliction, you need to cry out to the Lord. Get in his scripture. Read them Psalms. Cry out, pray. Sing a song to the Lord, right? You need to show him that I'm going to praise you no matter what, right? My wife takes medication. She didn't take it during the fast. All praise to the Most High. He sustained her, right? You can do it. He can sustain you. The same way he put that affliction on you to have to take that medication, right? And they try to tell her you got high blood pressure. We all got high blood pressure. You think our blood pressure ain't ran through the roof due to the conditions that we got to live in? The stuff that we got to watch our children endure, the things we can't speak about, or we're going to get this or that. There's going to be some kind of judgment. You don't think all our people got high blood pressure, right? Trying to tell my wife, if you don't take your pill, this is going to happen. My wife can forget to take her pill. She go check her blood pressure. That jump regular degular. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like when she take her pill, it seems like it's a little bit higher than what it's supposed to be. I mean, hey, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just going to tell you what. All that stuff is a spirit that they put on us, right? All that stuff is a spirit. Are we going to trust that, man, if you don't take this pill, you're going to die? You know why you're afraid to die? Because you're in sin. That's why. Because you know if you die right now, you're not going into the gates. You're going into the lake. That's the reason why our people are trying to do whatever they possibly can to try and lengthen their life, right? Because they're afraid to go meet the Lord. They're afraid to know that when they open that book of life and the works that they've done, they haven't done enough. If you got that fear, then you need to be going 10 times harder. You need to be applying yourself 10 times harder. Because you wake up in the morning and I pray, most I can put affliction on you by 2 o'clock. He can. And only he can take it off of you. I've seen it. I've seen it happen to people. You get up, you don't do it. Hey, you don't go seek the Lord early. Guess what? You're going to be seeking him later on, right? So let your light shine as Christ told us to do. And what is the light? Let's get that simple precept. It might be somebody who don't know what the light is. This might be the first time they're hearing that. They can't post a comment because they done locked up our comment board, right? Hey, Salakia, don't worry. Esau gonna get them lashes. Don't worry that the question can't be answered. Because guess what? The Most High operates telepathically, right? He's like, you know what? You got this question. I'm gonna have him bring it out. He's gonna answer that question. You gotta hear the Lord's voice, not my voice, the Lord's voice, right? Because you may say, well, how do I let my light shine? What is the light, right? Okay. Proverbs 6:23. It says, for the commandment is a lamp, right? Just like you see a light right here. The commandments is the lamp, right? It's the lamp. It says, and the law is light. Keeping those laws of his light. That's how you let your light shine. Wearing your fringes, wearing your beard. I know y'all probably going to say this and probably done typed it in there. Try and type it after the class is over with. Where's his beard? Where's my eyebrows? Got alopecia. That's why I don't have a beard. Or I would have a James Harden beard around this mug, right? I would, trust me, James Harden beard. And I would probably not be cutting my hair, right? And just let my hair grow as long as it can grow. Trim it when it needs to be trimmed, right? I probably had them wicks. You probably like, dang, the boy got them wicks hanging. them big locks, right? Let your hair wick out, right? But who knows, right? The Most High is created me and put me in a situation. He says, you know what? I'm gonna give you alopecia. One day you're gonna come back and wake up and know that you are Israelite, and people will come to you and ask you, "Where's your beard?" If you're so-called Israelite, and you will be able to tell them, "My beard is with the Lord. He's the one who made me forehead clean." Right? My hair fell out when I was 7 years old. I had no control over that. I've never shaved my head, never put a razor to my head, never put no clippers to my face, any of that. I got little hairs that grow. Brothers always tell me, "Hey, bro, I can see a mustache growing." All praises. All praise to the Most High. Keep praying. Keep praying that mustache turn into a beard, right? Pray for that. I want to keep all the laws and statutes and commandments that I can. Just like they say Pokemon, catch them all. Hey, I want to keep them all. All the laws that apply to me, I want to keep them all, right? I don't want to willfully sin. You shouldn't want to willfully sin either, right? You want to do what the Lord say do. And remember, right, what this is telling you right here is, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instructions are the way of life, right? You have to actually do that, right? You have to. Because if you're not going to have a reproof of the instructions are the way of life, the reproof means, look at your ancestors. Look at how they kept the laws. Look how they kept the feast days, right? Follow those instructions. This is the way of life. Keeping these commandments, being diligent in the truth, right? Because you got to understand something. You got to understand something. The reason why it says, let your light shine, right? The reason why it's telling you what the light is, right? Because the Most High was showing us, right? That's why I said the sheep hear his voice. It's going to make sense to you, right? Because you're hearing the voice of the Lord through his word. He's not going to speak. You see when he spoke to the children of Israel, how he came. They were terrified. Hey, Moses, you speak to us. We're scared of that, right? Ephesians 5 and 8, right? And it reads, "For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of life." This is what happens when we're keeping the commandments, which is the lamp, and the law is the light. We're walking with that big, like if you in a forest, right? Or you somewhere where there's no light whatsoever, like when we're at tabernacles, we had the tiki torches. They don't want us out there with the tiki torches now. It's a problem. Oh, it can catch on fire, this, that. Look, we trust in the Lord. That's what we trust in. Esau, you're not concerned with the fact that we're out there with tiki torches. You just want an opportunity to maybe sneak up on us in the middle of the night. You think it's going to go that way, but it's not. We'll be ready. We'll be waiting, right? We have sometimes walked in darkness. We're not keeping those laws, statutes, and commandments. We're sinning willfully. You're walking in darkness. You're not letting your light shine before men. You're not applying the good works as Christ told you to do, right? That's why it says, now you are in the light of the Lord. Walk as children of light. Walk as children of the commandments. Well, that's the actual inheritance. That's why we are chosen. All these things led up into this, right? When you make a sandwich, you start out with your bread. You might put a little bit of condiments on it, whatever you like, mayonnaise, mustard, who knows what you want to put on there. You put that on there, the layer of bread. You lay that down, right? You go get the lettuce. You want the best lettuce. Some people like whatever lettuce. Me, I like the crispy lettuce, right? You put that on there, right? You come back, you say, you know what? I want some turkey bacon. You done fried up some turkey bacon, right? Or some beef bacon, not no pork bacon, right? You either got the turkey or the beef. You ain't got the pork. You crumble that on there, right? Making this spiritual sandwich, right? You're keeping the laws. You're actually reading your Bible every morning. You're praying at the times you need to pray. You're applying scripture in your life. You're walking with the Lord by doing that, right? You're turning your back and you're actually abstaining from evil, right? You're abhorring the actual evil, right? This is how you're walking as children of light. You put the meat on there, on the sandwich, your turkey, right? Or your chicken, or your beef. You put that on there. That's the heavier commandments and scriptures that the Lord is opening up to you. You make that spiritual sandwich. It's delicious to the soul, man. It's delicious to the soul. It's time to eat with the Lord, man. It's time to sup with Christ, right? Let me get the last verse, or the last precept here. All right, then we're going to get us a law. I'm going to go to the book of John, 8 and 12, right? As Christ said, walk as children of light, right? Walk as the children of light. You want to walk as the children of the commandments. And Salakia, if you're posting comments or questions or saying shalom, shalom, salute to everybody in the chat, right? They froze my chat. Can't see nothing. They do that a lot when it comes to us edifying. So that way we can't answer the questions y'all have. It's okay. Most High sees that, right? It's okay. Write that question down. Because the opportunity, you had the opportunity before they freeze up the chat, you may be able to ask and have an answer, right? It's okay, right? The book of St. John, chapter 8, verse 12. Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world, right? What the world was, Isaiah 45:17, right? He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, because what did it say in Ephesians? For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, right? It says, he that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life, right? You want the light of life. I want the light of life, right? We read that in Sirach when we was reading, what was it, knowledge, right? It explains to us. I get it one more time, right? One more time. Because you can probably say, well, how do we do that? How do we do that, right? How do we do that? Because it says, but shall have the light of life. This is what Christ said, right? Christ isn't a man that he shall lie. Sirach 19 and 19 says, the knowledge of the commandment of the Lord is doctrine of life. This is what you want, right? That doctrine of life is Proverbs 4 and 2. It says, and they that do things that please him, please who? Please the Lord, please the Most High, right? Them that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality, right? The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency, right? This is how we should have that light, man. By doing what the Most High say do to please him, right? Because you can't please him without doing it. You cannot please him without doing it. Because like we start out with Romans 16 and 9, and we built on that, right? It says, for your obedience is come abroad unto all men, let not light shine, right? It says, I am glad, therefore, on your behalf. He's glad for our salvation. He's happy for our Israelite brothers and sisters and children that are doing the law, statutes, and commandments and keeping them, right? Obediently, right? It says, but yet I would have you wise unto that which is good, the laws which are good and holy, right? Romans 7 and 12. It says, and simple concerning the evil, right? Like 1 Peter 3 and 19, not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, right? Because we're the call, right? And we should inherit a blessing, just like Ephesians 1 and 11. We got to do that. We can't be as children of understanding, right? But in malice, you want to be a child. You want to be forgiving as children are, right? Children get a whooping, right? And you done beat them, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you can't beat the children. You done beat them. You say, come here, give me a hug. Mama love you, whatever. You say, every child done did that. They done got their behind toe up for doing something they shouldn't have did, but that didn't make them not love their parents, right? That's why I tell you, spare not the rod. It's not going to kill them. It's going to keep them in obedience to not do that, right? They beat us with penalties. We say something they don't like, strike. You on your job and say something that they don't like, they go into the HR, you might be fired, right then and there. They beat us, right? They look at it like, hey, it's going to kill us. It could put us in a situation of getting killed, right? On the job, you can't afford to take care of your children. You can't afford your transportation, your household. It could put you in a dire situation, right? So we got to look at these situations and understand when the Lord spank us with something, We got to make sure we have the understanding of men, like First Ezra 1:33. And we can't be a foolish people, right? We can't be a people that don't know to do good because they don't have knowledge, right? We can't be stubborn like the ox or the ass. We have to consider. We can't be destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We can't do that. We can't, that's why it says our people is gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. If you don't know that you're an Israelite, you're going to stay in the captivity of your mind. You'll never keep these laws, and when the Lord come back, you'll say, but Lord, I didn't know. You done passed plenty of Israelite videos, plenty of opportunities to grab a fly and stop and speak and ask questions and try and get out of that sin. You have plenty of opportunity, right? So it says you should beget sons and daughters and not enjoy them because they're going to go into captivity. That's why it says, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and does not, it is sin. That's why I said willful sin, you gambling on your grace, right? Then no more sacrifice to sin. How many times you gonna put Christ back on the cross? As they said, the Lord Christ said, let your light shine before all men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is heaven. That means follow what you're doing. That's why it says here, it says, for ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord, walk as children of light. This is how you're glorifying the Father which is in heaven, right? He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. This is what Christ says, right? And what is that light? For the commandment is a lamp and the law is light. It don't get no more simple than that, right? Here at the Battle Axes, we say keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right, of the Lord. And we're going to get us a law. And then we'll be getting into our day of preparation, right? Into our day of preparation, because we got a double Sabbath coming up, man. We got that double Sabbath coming up. So you want to make sure, since new moon is coming up, you can't buy, sell, or trade, but you can cook on a new moon, which is going to be Saturday evening until Sunday evening. But Friday evening to Saturday evening is the Shabbat. There's no cooking, buying, or selling, right? Can't do that. I'm going to get Exodus 35:3, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to start on verse 2 because a person may not understand why we keep the Sabbath from Friday night to Saturday night. No buying, no selling, no cooking, right? Exodus 35:2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day there shall be to you an holy day, right? To you, it's going to be a holy day. A Sabbath of rest to the Lord, right? That's why people say, oh, I can't wait till the weekend. You think Edomites don't know that, right? You think they don't know that? The Roman Catholic Church changed the Sabbath from us celebrating it on Saturday to Sunday. And they got videos saying that they did it. And they said they have full authority from God to do that. That's a lie, right? It says a Sabbath of rest to the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. It came with consequences. So if you working willfully, I got to get this overtime. I got to do this. I got to do that, right? You get put to death, right? We understand we're in captivity. There's going to be situations, right? But if you have the opportunity to say, nah, I'm not working on that, do it, right? Do it. I'm afraid for you, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? Trust me. Verse 3, ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day, right? You can't do that. So if you think that you're going to take some food, put it on the dashboard of your car, it's hot outside, and it warms up the food for you, can't do that. No microwaving, no oven, right? No doing none of that. Ain't no coffee, ain't no hot tea, ain't none of that, right? Kindling no fire to enjoy a cooked meal, right? You can have you some cold water. You had that when it's hot. You can have you a nice sandwich. You had that when the game is on. You eat some chips. You can have some fruit. There's so many other foods that you can enjoy from Friday night to Saturday night that don't require heat. Ain't no buying or selling or trading. Ain't none of that. Sabbath of rest, right? When you go through some of these old towns, guess what? when they shut down for Sunday, like Texas, you can't buy no alcohol on Sunday. You can't do a lot of things on Sunday out here. They said they're a God country. Yeah, okay, all right. I think Georgia's like that as well, right? You can't buy any alcohol on that day, right? You can't. So you got a day of preparation. If you know you can't buy none on Sunday, guess what? They're gonna get it Friday. They're gonna get it Saturday. So when Sunday come, they can't do it. They're able to comply with that. Comply with the laws of the Most High. No cooking, right? Of any sort on the Sabbath day. A new moon, right, is a feast day that you can actually cook on, right? The Sabbath is a feast day that you cannot cook on, right? You have to understand the difference between the two of those. You can cook on a new moon Sabbath, but you cannot cook on the weekly regular Sabbath of the Lord, right? The new moon was utilized as a feast day. You'll probably say, well, how you can do this and that? Think about when Saul sent for David on the new moon, and they were having a feast of meat, right? And David went and hid in the field, and there was nothing that he couldn't be seen out there because we keep the new moon on a dark moon, right? David couldn't be seen for 3 days out there hiding from Saul. And he was like, I don't want to miss the new moon. He said, oh, well, you got no choice when you spoke to Jonathan, right? Saul's son. So when they say, oh, we ain't got to do it, let's just use the wisdom of the Bible. Let's not lean out on our own understanding, right? Make sure that you keeping these laws to the best of your ability, right? Please make sure you're doing that, right? So if the Lord said we can't do it, we can't do it, right? We cannot do it, right? Can't do it. So I leave y'all with that. Again, I am Soldier Ehud Banya Sharala. I am just a humble servant of the Lord, right? That's all I am, is a humble servant of the Lord, right? Here to feed his sheep as I was commanded, repeatedly throughout the scriptures, to keep his commandments, and let my light shine before men and women and children, so that they may see my good works. Hopefully they are good and acceptable in the eyes of the Lord, and that you glorify our Father, our which is in heaven, right? Again, if y'all want to fellowship the Battle Axes of the Most High on the feast day that's coming up, reach out to the leadership. The numbers are in the description. You can find them in the description. If you don't see it on this video, go to any of the other videos and just click it. Click one of the street teaching videos. You'll see the captain's numbers there, right? So that way you can reach out, and actually, if you're in the area, you can pull up, right? There's a lot of brothers and sisters that come into town for the feast days, and they drive hours upon hours, right? Just like our people travel to Jerusalem to keep those feast days. They're being obedient to the Lord. Why aren't you? If you are, all praises. If you're not, come on. I charge you, man. I charge you, sis. I charge you, brother. All right? To keep the commandments of the Lord, to get out here and fellowship with your people, right? Stop trying to separate yourself in a sense that I'm not going to be part of a camp. I'm not doing that. Well, if you're not doing that, how are you going to know if you're in sin? If the wife is going off and the husband has somebody to take counsel with, and he's not reading his Bible because he's slacking, and the children are being disobedient, what is that? You can't play with your salvation, man. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, man. Again, this day of gathering, right? Day of preparation. This evening, Soldier Rosatop and Soldier Donovan will be bringing in First Works Friday. They'll bring in our Sabbath class. As of tomorrow, Captain Yard will be leading the leadership Sabbath class. Tune in for that tomorrow, right? And some of the end of the classes, they do a Q&A. Some of them, not all of them, depending. The most I put on the spirit. Sunday, Captain Benaniyah does the Q&A, right? With Smoke Sundays. Monday, Power Hour, Captain Jerubbaal, he sometimes goes into Q&As because there's a lot of people that ask questions. If they didn't get their question answered on Smoke Sunday, we still can answer those questions. Lord willing, they don't freeze our chat or mess with the video or hey, it's okay because the Most High's word's not going out void, right? It's not. Somebody's going to see it that never knew about being an Israelite and may wake up and put them cigarettes down or put that sinful lifestyle down and come out of that and come back to these laws and try and get some fringes onto their garments and start trying to keep these laws and practicing the dietary law and keeping the laws of civil moral, right? Ceremonial laws, right? They want to actually make their body that living sacrifice. I'm praying that the Most High puts that on our nation, right? So Tuesday, you got Raw True Tuesday with Officer Yakov. Wednesday, Warrior Wednesday, so Officer Berechiah. Thursdays, I think he said Therapeutic Thursdays. Captain Yard, Salakia if I'm saying it wrong, right? Captain Yard has Therapeutic Thursdays. I believe that's the name of it. And Friday morning, Soji Hood Banya Shirala with Reverend Friday. Just like the sleeves say. Reverend Friday, right? And the water and Shalom salute to the sister that did our shirts in regards to these classes. All praise to the Most High. We're appreciative of our whole body, right? Of each and every brother and sister that puts in or, gives alms or first fruits or anything, prayers, anything, right? We appreciate all of y'all, right? Nobody's works is greater than the other. We have to always let our good works be seen so that way the Lord, which is in heaven, gets the glory, because you can't praise him enough, man. You cannot exalt the Lord enough. And that's it, man. All praises to the Most High. Again, I'm Soji Ehud Banya Shirala. This has been Reverend Friday. I pray that y'all have a blessed day of preparation. And Kwame Shirala.